Alrighty, I hereby call this meeting to order at 7:09 p.m. Pledge of Allegiance, Vice Chair Mitchinson. Chair Mitchinson, excuse me.
Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for the national anthem. Please be seated. Roll call and verification of quorum. Chair Hall.
Okay, I'm here. Pro Tem Kehoe,
Present.
Senator Mole,
Here.
Chair Matan,
Present.
Senator Dench,
Present.
Chair Bertram,
Present.
Senator Richard,
Present.
Chair Mitchinson,
Present.
Vice Chair Hedman,
Present.
Senator Temple,
Present.
Speaker Ananobi,
Here.
Chair Wanjin,
Present.
Senator Simcoe,
Present.
Chair Block,
Here.
Vice Chair Amin is excused, Delag Bonifant,
Present.
Chair Galloway is excused, Senator Foster, Chair Gell, Vice Chair Taylor,
Here.
Senator McElvin, Senator Patel, Senator Jacobs,
Here.
Deeser Magdadara,
Present.
Senator Casas,
Here.
Chair Holmes,
Present.
Chair Cerisi, Chair Duque, Ayala Huerta, and Ela Jimenez, Vice Chair Boysen.
Present.
Okay, with 26 out of 32, quorum is verified.
Thank you. Approval of the minutes. If everyone can take a look over last meeting's minutes, and I will take a motion. Chair Temple.
Move to approve last meeting's minutes.
There's been a motion to approve last meeting's minutes. Are there any objections? Seeing none, the minutes stand approved. Approval of the agenda. If everyone can take a look over today's agenda, and I will take a motion. Senator Moore.
Move to approve this meeting's agenda.
There's been a motion to approve today's agenda. Are there any objections? Seeing none, the agenda stands approved. Chair Block.
Move to go to fiscal legislation, notice of legislation on second reading, fiscal bill 5345.
There's been a motion to go to fiscal legislation, notice of legislation on second reading, bills, fiscal bill 5345. Are there any objections? Seeing none, will now be there. Fiscal bill 5345, funding for 19 members of collegiate DECA to travel to the Internal Career Development Conference in Baltimore, Maryland, from April 9, 2022 to April 12, 2022. Introduced by ORS Chair Mitchinson. Is there a motion for speeches, questioning, and debate? Chair Temple.
Move for 3-minute speeches, unlimited questioning, and unlimited debate.
There's been a motion for 3-minute speeches, unlimited questioning, and unlimited debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, the motion will stand. Welcome. And do you have a PowerPoint? Okay, awesome. No, you're fine. You have 3 minutes whenever you're ready.
Hi, everyone. My name is Amanda Chin. I am the president of Collegiate DECA. And to just reiterate for the bill, it's actually going to be 18 people now. We've confirmed on that number. So Collegiate DECA, we are a business competition club here on campus. Some of you guys may know it from high school. What we do is we compete in case study role play events. So you will be assuming the role of, let's say, a VP of marketing, and then you will be presenting like a promotional plan or whatever the case study situation is to a judge. And then from there, you will get scored. And obviously for a national competition, this is going to be nationwide. So you are competing against other schools. Like one of our main competitors is Canada. We did just have our state conference this past February, and all the qualifiers from there have the option to travel to nationals. And so this will be us going to our national conference April 9th through the 12th. At this conference, we will be competing again, like I said, on a national level. And then there will also be other events like networking with other individuals from these countries and doing guest workshops and guest speakers from higher up like Fortune 500 companies. So, yeah.
Thank you. We are now in line for questioning. Chair Block.
Just to confirm for lodging, did the amount of rooms you need change? I have 5.
I do not believe so.
Anyone else with questions? If not, I can take a motion. Chair Cerisi.
Move to go to debate.
There's been a motion to go to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now in debate. Any senators wishing to debate? Chair Bertram.
I had a question for the RSO actually. How does your RSO plan to fund your half of the fiscal bill?
Yeah, so I actually just came from that meeting with us. We were actually thinking of probably on our end booking the flights, since I know that's more tentative upon people's schedules, how much they want to pay, which airline they also want to pay as well. So that's what we were thinking of on our end to book.
More so as far as like the fundraising for the purchase of the flights and things like that.
Oh, like what?
So for fundraising, we have started. We're doing partial proceeds, and we're also going to do a bake sale like on Free Speech Lawn, like in the next coming weeks. Another thing we were also thinking of is possible sponsors, like asking other local businesses and then just having like their sponsorship on the back of like t-shirts, and then also looking to like Costco or like Publix and Walmart for like sponsors for gift cards, because I know I've done that in like high school. And then with those gift cards, we can also use that to buy stuff for like the bake sale.
Chair Block.
Move to see mine and Chair Maton's amendments as a block.
There's been a motion to see all the amendments on the page as a block. Are there any objections? Seeing none, they will be seen. Would you like to speak on them?
These are the updated numbers because they went from 19 to 18 members going.
Thank you. We are now in line for questioning unless someone would like to move to debate. Chair Maton.
Move to go to debate.
There's been a motion to go to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now in debate. Vice Chair Richard.
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote on the amendments. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we will now be in voting procedures. With a vote count of 21 to 0, the amendments pass. We're still on debate over Fiscal Bill 5345. Chair Temple,
May I retain?
you may.
All right. So I've heard this this team in CRT, and I am very thoroughly interested in how you guys will perform, and I hope you guys do well. With that, move to vote.
Sorry. Thank you. There's been a motion to vote. Sorry. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we will now be in voting procedures. With a vote count of 22 to 0, Fiscal Bill 5345 passes second reading.
Thank you guys so much.
Alrighty. Vice Chair Costas.
Move to return to open forum.
There's been a motion to return to open forum. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now there. Okay, for everyone here during open forum, you all have a minute to speak, and I'll just let you know on the announcer here that your minute is up. And we can start from my left or your right. So whoever is willing and able to come up first, welcome. And also, before you start, if you can say your name so that we can get it for the minutes, please. Thank you.
Is it working? Okay. Hi, my name is Evan Cox, and I'm here to speak in favor of resolutions 34, 35, and 36. But I'm going to be focusing on the resolution against the abortion bill. Before we had legal and safe abortions, people with uteruses would use things such as coat hangers and pennyroyal to terminate pregnancies. Obviously, sticking pointy objects into your organs with no medical training and no suction to remove the material in question is dangerous, as is ingesting literal poison. But then Roe versus Wade passed, and people got to stop doing these things. Just a quick history lesson. Personally, I want to just say that if I were to ever get pregnant, I would stop at nothing to get an abortion, even if it was against the law, and even if I could die in the process. If you are considering voting against this resolution, I want you to know that you are complacent in the passage of a bill that is going to lead to death, potentially including mine.
change and adapt.
I'm sorry, that's time.
My name is Kurt Ramos. Most of you already know that. I wanted to express my support for passing the aforementioned 3 resolutions. In regards to number 34, our elected officials' already existing laws on reproductive rights are counterproductive, destructive to already existing women, and reinforce foul acts like sex trafficking, of which Florida has the 3rd highest rate. If DeSantis signs this abortion ban, it'll lower the healthcare quality of many vulnerable Floridians, but will nonetheless refer people to reproductive centers as best we can. In regards to number 35, history can be interpreted as a dialectic where we can all contribute to bringing about the changes we seek. We all attend a public university where challenging but insightful dialogues take place, and I assume most of you went through public schools growing up. The Florida bill, lobbied and written by people who claim schools lack intellectual freedom, are really using their bill to limit that freedom from being used by people like us who don't want to whitewash nor overlook painful truths. In regards to number 36,
I'm
if the
sorry,
state
that's
bill-
time.
Okay, bye.
Hello, Senators. My name is Vihan Yalamanchili. I'm from the College of Medicine. I stand in support of resolutions 53, 34, 35, and 36. Regarding 34, I would say that it is very imperative that UCF stand up for the reproductive rights of women. And regarding 35 and 36, it is imperative that we also stand for the free exchange of ideas. It is not right for the state legislature to suppress discussions on LGBT issues in primary schools and to keep kids in the closet and to suppress LGBT kids and their families. It is also not fair to stifle discussion on the issues of race and racism and racial inequality in our country, and to suppress this free exchange of ideas and new ideas so that these state lawmakers can impose their vision on the entire state against the will of many people
That's
is not
time.
fair. Thank you.
Anyone else here for open forum?
Hi, everyone. My name is Rifki Lipsker with the Chabad Jewish Student Group. We're a Jewish group on campus. And I just wanted to come up on here since you guys have been so supportive of Jewish life on campus. We are having a big event called Mega Shabbat this coming, not this week, next week, where student government has been a big supporter of. And I want to just invite you guys to join us. It's a big, beautiful Shabbat dinner in the Pegasus Ballroom. I mean, who doesn't want a beautiful dinner, candlelit, with nice food and good conversations? So Shabbat is an institution that the Jews have held for thousands of years. It's one of the greatest institutions. Rabbi can explain a little bit more. I just wanted to say one more thing, that God created an imperfect world. We each have a role to play in perfecting this world. You as leaders have a great mission. You are actually doing major change. You're affecting change in UCF every single day. And so I want to applaud you for that, taking the responsibility to make a difference in lives for Chabad and for outside of the thousands of organizations that you help and the thousands of students. So thank you for bringing light, positivity, goodness, and kindness, and affecting lives of thousands of students.
Amazing. Yeah, so I just want to come in real quick. Rifki said everything we could say. You guys are amazing. It's really inspirational. You guys, I know, take so many hours of your time on committees and so many different things. So volunteered to help students make the student life better. So it's really, really awesome. And we just want to take this opportunity to, one of the events that SGA has helped us with. This is actually the 10th year that we're doing it, is our Mega Shabbat. We brought these little flyers for Mega Shabbat. It's going to be right here in this building, in the Pegasus Ballroom next Friday night. We're going to have we're setting up for like 500 students or something like that to enjoy a beautiful traditional Friday night experience. It's a cultural experience. It's you gotta be there to kind of know what it is. I could describe it for hours, would never do justice. So we just wanted to come and first of all, thank you guys for everything that you do, and to also invite you to join us at the event. You're all welcome. Every year we've had a very nice showing of student government, senators and president, vice president, many people from student government, SGA and stuff, or SG. Sorry, the A is gone. Keep on forgetting. I'm here 16 years. So, but either way, we'd love for you to be there, and feel free to invite friends. Okay, and we'll have a fun night, and you get to see. One of the beauties of Mega Shabbat is to see the diversity on campus and so many different cultures and traditions and ways to celebrate and live life. So it's really something special, and we'd love for you to be a part of it. Okay? It starts 5:30 for a matzo ball social in the foyer in front of the Pegasus Ballroom, and 6 o'clock we open the doors. We'll sit down. There's like a kind of as we enter Shabbat candlelighting ceremony. And then 6:30 will be a delicious full dinner. So come hungry, okay? Otherwise, thanks for your time. I know you guys probably have a long night if it's like typical. Enjoy, and thank you for being so amazing, right? And go Knights!
Thank you. Anyone else here?
We just left cards there. We just give it out if anybody wants to come.
Anyone else here for open forum?
Hi, everyone. I'm not going to claim to be the most knowledgeable or someone who is necessarily, I guess, as knowledgeable as everyone who's come before, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about the proclamations that were going to be proposed tonight, and kind of just as someone who's a member of the LGBTQ community and also someone who fights for sex education and abortion rights. It's really scary that something like this could be happening in a place that I live, in a place where I could be affected and my friends could be affected. We're already oppressed as it is, and suicide rates in the LGBTQ community have been continuing to grow for the past couple of years. And so if you guys have the opportunity to make a difference, I know that I would appreciate it, and you'd be helping one person and you'd be helping so many more. So in tonight's vote, I hope you take that into consideration. And thank you so much for listening to me. Also, I'll be at the Shabbat event too. Y'all should come. That's unrelated to anything else. I'm just very nervous.
Thank you. Anyone else for open forum? Alrighty, seeing none. Announcements from the student body president, President Hall.
All right, everyone. Happy Thursday. Fun fact, Thursday is my favorite day of the week. My second favorite day is Wednesday. All right. So we're just going to move through this past week in the exec branch. Monday was Valentine's Day. We celebrated with President Cartwright and handed out Valentine's gifts to students, which was a very fun and rewarding opportunity. So got to spread some cheer there. Also, our Director of Communications, Jasmine Fletcher, hosted the Love Wheel outside the Student Union, and that was very popular, and we had giveaways too. And allowed students to take pictures with their friends or loved ones. On Wednesday, Director Fletcher and I also participated in Matt Hall's virtual forum. He's the Vice President of Technology here at UCF, and so we were actually in the forum with about 200 members of UCF IT, and we spoke about some of the IT concerns we had on campus. It was very successful. Frankly, we got a lot out of it, and I think that the members of IT did too. So we already signed up to do another one in April. So if you have any concerns regarding IT, and that includes many things like Tech Commons, the library, the library rental program, things like that, make sure to send them our way, and we'll bring them up during this forum because it was a really good collaboration. Also, something interesting is that I found this out during the forum, they're starting a new pilot program for self-checkout laptops for students to rent out, and it's located in Classroom Building 1. So I encourage you to look into that. Currently, we're in the process of trying to promote it on our social media, but that's also a good resource that you might want to check out and experience it yourself. Then if you have any feedback about that, you can also let me know, and we'll include it in the forum in April. This Friday begins the search committee for the Vice President of Student Success. So I'll be serving on that throughout the next couple weeks. So that's an update about that. A couple events coming up. Next week is Irf Justice Week, which is so exciting. So we have a whole week of events. I have them all, but I don't want to talk for too long. So I'll just give you the most Spark Notes version of it that I can. Mondays is plants, politics, and popsicles. I almost said puppies. No puppies. Plants, politics, popsicles. And it's a collaborative event with Brandon, the director of academics, the director of Gov Affairs, and the director of Sustainability and Innovation. It's going to be at the Reflection Pond at 2 p.m. on Monday. Make sure to check it out. Get some popsicles from Pop Parlor. I'm pretty sure you will be able to register to vote. And you can, what was the third thing? Plants. There's a plant sale. Okay. Also, on Monday, they'll be having a sustainability and skincare kind of green assembly. I believe there's going to be a Kahoot, and the winners win skincare products that are sustainable. So that might be interesting to check out. Tuesday, there's a panel with the downtown RSOs to talk about sustainability initiatives. Wednesday is Conversations and Cheeses, and there will be food there. I believe it is all cheese-related food.
Grilled cheeses, yeah.
Oh, grilled cheeses. There we go. Thursday is another Arboretum plant sale and a sustainability picnic from 4 to 6 p.m. And then on Friday, there will be a rose and garden construction. Okay, yes, these two are both on Friday. Rose and garden construction on Friday, and then a PETA and environmental justice on Friday. And those are from 3 to 4 p.m. and 5 to 6 p.m. So lots and lots of sustainability events coming next week. I encourage you to at least check out a few of them if you can.
Absolutely. As far as my updates go, I had the privilege on Tuesday, bright and early at 8 o'clock in the morning, to attend with President Cartwright the Transfer Center grand opening. We're super excited for this space because I'm preaching to the choir here, but you all know it's going to be a vital resource to our transfer students. It's going to be combining a lot of co-curricular experience and resources that we've been lacking here at UCF. So we're super looking forward to that. It's located on the second floor of Trevor Colburn Hall. Greenway, our academic affairs coordinator, JP Vartania, our director of student affairs, as well as y'all's chair through transfer nights. So kudos to them for all the hard work they did to get that. A big thing that happened this week was a set information session. For those of you who are not aware, service enhancement for centers and the purpose changes that's happening at this university regarding finance and HR. If you have more questions about that, it gets very complicated into like the organizational structure of things. And so I can definitely talk to you one-on-one about that because I attended some sessions for that because it will be affecting students in the AS Business Office realm of things and a couple things with HR as well. I had today a faculty senate meeting where we were joined by our vice president for diversity, equity, inclusion, Dr. Andrea Guzman, and she provided a really great update that I'll be able to share with you all via email regarding where she's been here since her 6 months, the progress that she's made. And then we were also joined by Dr. Cynthia Muniz, who she basically gave the same presentation you all had as far as HSI updates and everything. So you all are aware of that already. And then I'd like to come here and extend an invitation if anyone is free at 3 o'clock tomorrow on Friday. I will be having a meeting with
associate provost now, Ross Wolf, Dr. Shonda Torres from downtown. I believe Speaker Ananobi, I don't know if you accepted count for it. I believe she will be there as well. It's occurring downtown. It's an engagement meeting, and there's also a Zoom component. This big thing is regarding, getting senators more involved with downtown and getting student government more involved in downtown. So please bring any of your ideas. And then lastly, I know they already came up here and spoke in a forum, but I attended the last Mega Shabbat that occurred 2 years ago in person. Highly recommend it. It was a great experience to be able to connect with so many UCF students and, recognize other things that are happening on campus. So I highly encourage you, if you have the time, please attend. It's also really great food. But other than that, we'd be happy to take any questions.
Yes, and the last thing I'll say, just to reiterate Austin's remarks about going to the downtown meeting tomorrow. Downtown really, really wants to work with student government, and specifically they want to work with Senate. And so these meetings are really helpful. I know Speaker Ananobi and I were at the last one, and ELA Gonzalez was there too, and I think that we had some really good conversations. I meant Eli Jimenez. I'm sorry. The new Eli. I'm sorry. I know that was forever ago that we switched. I'm sorry. Eli Jimenez, Speaker Ananobi, and me. Sorry. I saw your face and I was like, yes. And I encourage you all to go tomorrow at 3 p.m.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Any questions for President Hall or VP Wilson? Vice Chair Costas.
So you guys might not know this because you're not President Cartwright, but does he had any words to denounce the Nazis that were at Waterford Lakes? I know some students have been trying to reach out to him and have him say some words, but he hasn't yet.
So unfortunately, I can't speak on that. We can't speak for the president of the university, but I do know that the branch heads together collaboratively submitted language denouncing that. So on our end, that was accomplished, but I can't speak for the president. Thank you.
Anyone else with questions? Alrighty, seeing none. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Comptroller's report. Comptroller Fabregas.
Well, hello again. So as far as CRT account balance, it's $434,274 with a reversion rate of 15.914%. The FAO current account balance is $166,000, 690.29 cents with a reversion rate of 25.295%.
Anyone with questions? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
Cabinet Forum, none. Announcements from the Chief Justice. Chief Justice Gamera. Vice Chair Amin.
Present voting.
So noted at 7:42 p.m.
All right, good evening, everyone. All right, so some announcements from me. Reminder, the Judicial Spring Retreat's tomorrow. Really, really excited for that. We have a lot of interesting stuff planned for the justices. We're doing a mock hearing. We have PTS coming to visit. Dr. Frame's coming to give an inspirational speech. If you've met her before, she's a great human being. So very excited for that. If anyone would like to stop by, just let me know. I would love to have anyone attend. Lavender Council will be visiting at our next General Judicial Council meeting to conduct a somewhat safe zone training discussion. I understand safe zone trainings aren't really an hour long typically, but I did want them to stop by and have some sort of discussion with us. So that'll be really great for the justices. I met with USF's Chief Justice Popa, and we're working together to contact other Chief Justices at other Florida institutions to organize a potential judicial conference. I've met with Meg and asked about some contacts for that. So really, really excited to see where that goes. So I will keep you all updated on that. The Interim Assistant Dean in the College of Undergraduate Studies will also be visiting the Judicial Council during one of our meetings. That'll just be to review the grade appeals process, just because we want some more clarity on what they have on their end so we can give a more holistic view to students if they ever approach us about that. JLCers presented their Knights Rights event ideas today at our meeting. Really, really great. And so justices will be voting on what event we will be moving forward with for our official outreach event. And then JOC will be tabling on February 24th from 1 to 3 at the SU patio. So please stop by and say hi if you would like. We'll have some merch. And then the Judicial Council recently heard 3 parking appeals. If anyone ever has a student approach them in the office, please refer them to us and we will definitely get in touch with them.
Any questions for Chief Justice Gamera? Seeing none, thank you. Announcements from the Supervisor of Election, Supervisor DeLong.
Good evening, Senate. I have a few things to tell you guys today. As you all probably know, this week is declaration of candidacy for Senate candidates. So if any of you want to run again, now's the time. You have until Friday at 5 p.m., so tomorrow at 5 p.m., less than 24 hours to submit the application packet. The forms are on Night Connect. If you need help accessing it, please feel free to send me an email. It really doesn't take very long. It takes like less than 10 minutes to do. But yeah, that's one fun little tidbit. The town hall that we just had with the presidential candidates was actually a huge success. I was not knowing what to expect with that event, since it was something that we've never really had to encounter before. But we ended up having way more questions than we could answer, just enough food to feed everybody, and a good amount of attendance. I was really happy with how it went. So yeah, I just came from there. There was some really good pasta. I really hope some of you guys had the chance to grab some before coming up here. Sorry, my announcements went up. Alrighty. So I've actually had a lot of people express interest in running for Senate, a lot of new faces. So that's exciting. I've gotten some emails from names I've never heard before. We'll see how that turns out. But yeah, just some info on that. There's one more informational session of this week tomorrow at noon, and then there is another on Monday at 9:30 if you couldn't attend any of the others. But if you can't attend any of those sessions, then like with your application, I could use your PID to add you to my web courses. You could watch a Zoom recording of a previous session, and then there's like a 15 question quiz that you have to take, and that will basically tell me, yeah, I watched the recording, I know what the deal is. Some other information, just as the Chief Justice said, there is a judicial spring retreat tomorrow, and I'm going to be, along with the Attorney General, we're going to be putting on a mock hearing, but it's not going to be a mock violation hearing. It's going to be a mock appeal hearing. So it's going to be in the event that there is a violation that gets appealed, and I have to stand in front of the judicial branch. So the justices are going to be put to the test. That's exciting. This week, I also spoke to the ENA chair about some concerns that she had regarding the Title VI. And so we cleared up some discrepancies that there was and just some confusion, some of the ambiguity. Lastly, there is a candidate forum for Senate candidates on Wednesday, this Wednesday at 7 p.m. It's going to be in VAB, the Visual Arts Building in 132. I think that's the big room with the stage that has the kind of slanted seating. So if you are running, come prepared with some platform points so that you can tell everybody about what you want to do on Senate next year. And then one last little thing is we have officially finished all election promo, and there were last minute changes because things happen, but the results are actually really cool. There's going to be the new trend is trucker hats. So we ended up getting 150 trucker hats. So if you're interested, be sure to be at the polling station first thing, because I know those are going to fly. But yeah, there's a lot of really cool promo. It'll all be out by the Student Union patio. So if you want some, come by. Also, smoothies. Are there any questions?
Any questions for Supervisor DeLaw, Vice Chair Costas?
Just to make sure, because this is my first time really running. A few years ago, we were voting online on my UCF. It's not like that this time?
No, it is.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be on my UCF. Also, just to make it easier for people, I got one of those retractable banners. I think the Day of the Capitol one that's in the office. It's the same style, and it has a QR code to my UCF. So if you guys are tabling, campaigning, whatever, you can just direct students to that, and they can just scan it and vote pretty easily.
Senator Moon.
Yeah, I had two questions. First of all, are Senate candidates required to go to the town hall next Wednesday? And secondly, when will the complete list of all the candidates running be released?
So for your first question, I don't believe you're absolutely required, but you're highly recommended to do so, to go to the town hall, because that's your opportunity to like tell students about, your campaign, and other people have the opportunity to not do so. If you are a candidate and you can't, I would say shoot me an email and we could like talk about it if there's like something more individual on that basis. As for the second one, so how we're doing of it, like putting candidates availability, basically we're uploading it to the website as they get approved. So I have a spreadsheet, that like a big master spreadsheet that I use to get everyone verified, and Brody checks their eligibility. I check if they are, submitted all the proper documentation. And so once we make changes pretty much every day, he submits it to get on the website, and it does so periodically. Everything should be absolutely done tomorrow at 5. And then some people that haven't completed some of the requirements have until Monday at 5. So by Monday at 5, everything will be final. There's no changing it.
Chair Holmes.
So I haven't attended info session yet. The one I'm coming to is tomorrow, but I just had a general question about like the Canvas module, if that's okay.
Sure.
Okay. So for the electronic media, that's where we send in like our campaign, posts thing.
Yes. So what those submissions are, there's the tangible items. So if you're making signs, if you're making shirts, whatever you're making, and then there's electronic media, which is more applicable to Senate candidates. Because I know you guys typically do Instagram or anything like that. So how that works, you could basically submit the profile and then you submit the posts. And I suggest that you comment every time you submit to get it approved. Otherwise, I won't see it until I actually check the module. So it'll take a lot longer. But yeah, you have to basically submit every post you want to do. If you want to, you could pre-plan out all your posts, send me rough drafts all in one shot so I can approve you all in one shot, and you could just submit things as you go. It's really up to you though.
Okay, just to let you know, just ignore my email because I sent you an email like an hour ago. So just ignore that one.
All right, I will. No problem.
Anyone else with questions? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you guys.
Announcements from the Activity and Service Fee Committee Vice Chair Mitchinson.
Hi, y'all. Congrats, Senate. You all allocated a $21 million budget. This is probably the last time you'll hear from myself or the Activity and Service Fee Budget Committee, as our job is pretty much done now. The last steps for the budgeting process is currently underway, and you'll receive notice from Brody and/or Ava when the bill is signed.
Any questions for Vice Chair Mitchinson? Seeing none, thank you. Announcement from the Scholarship Committee Chair, none. Announcements from the Senate President. Good evening, Senate. I hope you all are doing well. So as many of you do know, today was Senate meet and greet, and we had a great turnout. We had students come and talk to us, and that was super exciting just because it was a great way to break that awkward barrier that students might have approaching us. And I hope to see more in the future from the next speaker and next sessions. I briefly wanted to talk about resources. I know that some people are interested in event planning and just even trying to figure out how to do certain things. I just encourage you all to please reach out to me if you feel comfortable doing so. It just helps me know who to connect you with to help make your event or to help make your initiatives the best possible, and to reach out to as many students and have a greater impact. So please feel free to reach out to me so I can help you. Reach out to Nathan as well, and also any other leadership, so that we can help guide you and connect you to people who can help make your initiatives go into fruition as well. I do want to invite everyone to attend a deliberative dialogue that will be occurring Monday, February 21st from 2:30 to 4:30 in Classroom Building 1, room 220, excuse me. And this will be focusing on mental illness in America. So for deliberative dialogue, it is a section and segment of where students will be able to come and talk about different perspectives and views on this topic, mental illness in America. It's to open up discussions and promote a foster foster and promote an environment for students to learn from each other despite the different views that might occur, and just to gain further understanding. I will actually be helping facilitate this discussion, so I'd love to see some familiar faces. If you cannot attend, feel free to invite your constituents as well to help promote that environment of learning amongst each other on campus. I will also be attending the Evans High School panel hosted by our lovely Chair Holmes. That will be happening next week, Wednesday, the 23rd from 1 to 3 p.m. And I will feel free to let you know more about that as well. And then lastly, I have the formal invitational to the banquet. Feel free to click on it to see the invitational, and please fill this out by Monday, February 28th from 12 p.m. at the latest. This helps me get some perspective on who can attend. If you can't attend, I still need you to fill it out. Please don't ignore it, even if you can't attend. I also asked about your attendance for the last Senate meeting as well, which will be on the 24th. And I will be reaching out to former senators as well. If you know any former senators, please reach out to them. Anyone that served during the 53rd session, they are invited to this as well. Any questions for me? Vice Chair Foster.
President voting.
So noted at 7:56 p.m. Any other questions? Seeing none. Internal Legislative Assistant report. Hannah's not here today, but in SLC, they did a bonding activities. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to her or to me. For External Legislative Assistant report, Allison's also not here, but she writes, "Hi, Senate. I hope you had a very wonderful Valentine's Day. This week, we had dean meetings for College of Nursing and the College of Community Innovation and Education. They both went very well. Shout out to Senator Patel and Speaker Ninobi for completing a successful meeting as they were the only senators in their college. Next week's meetings are the College of Engineering and Computer Science. That will be occurring Monday, February 21st from 1 to 2:30 via Zoom, and you should have the information for that already. And College of Graduate Studies, which will be Tuesday, February 22nd from 10 to 11 a.m. in Milliken Hall, Conference Room 243, which is in the Office of Research." Allison also writes, "Thank you for everyone for working diligently to work with her to get your meeting scheduled. And as always, if any news outlets attempt to contact you, please forward the messages to Allison's email." And that's it for her. Feel free to email her with any questions or reach out to me as well. Alrighty, Senate President Pro Tempore report, Pro Temp Kehoe.
Good evening, everybody. Just a few reminders from me. First off, with transitions, if you're a member of leadership, your initial transition binder is due next Friday. I do have access to all of them. I do stalk them regularly, so I know where you're at in your process. Just a few notes regarding communication, kind of along the same lines as Speaker Ananobi said. Reaching out if you need help with any projects or want to put on any events. Reaching out to either of us, we can help you get in contact with the people that you need to. And then be sure that you're attentive to communication via email. I'm CC'd on quite a few emails from different constituents, and maybe maybe somebody's not replying all, I don't know, but I just want to make sure, especially with these funding deadlines and just approaching the end of the session, that we're really attentive to that. Some reminders about legislation. If you're adopting legislation, it does not need to get approved by the Pro Temp's office. We just need to know that you're adopting it. We need to know that the bill exists. And then editing legislation, myself and D. Lake Bonifant will often comment on your submissions before they're seen. Make sure that you really read those through and, take them to heart and actually make some changes for the better. And then I've linked two things from last meeting, the message from Jerry in accounting about Net 30 and the 10-day policy, and then some election infographics. Obviously, as Supervisor Dalal said, applications close tomorrow, so maybe if you want to get one last push out, that would be great.
Any questions for Pro Temp Kehoe? Seeing none, thank you. Deputy Pro Temp Board of Legislative Affairs report, D. Lake Bonifant.
Alrighty, good evening, Senate. So this week, 4 fiscal bills were adopted, 5 fiscal bills were approved, 4 internal resolutions were adopted, and 1 fiscal bill was rejected. We adopted fiscal bills this week since they couldn't be seen, obviously, in last week's Senate meeting. So I checked in with the fiscal chair to see if they'd be open to adopting the ones who had applied before the Senate meeting last week. The fiscal bill that was rejected was for an event at the end of March. It was about 5 weeks away, and so not within the timeline. Those adopted and approved bills were assigned to Senators Mitchinson, Dench, Simcoe, Block, Matan. I think I said that wrong. I'm so sorry, Hannah. Hedman and myself. If you did not receive a fiscal bill representation guide, please let me know just to make sure. I know most of y'all are either involved in the fiscal process or have represented bills before, but please let me know just to make sure everyone gets one. For the new senators, the one-on-one invites will go out tomorrow. I know I've been saying that for weeks. I promise tomorrow will actually happen. And then along the procedures for introducing legislation, adopting any measures, they just need to be, you need to inform us, and we need to have confirmation from the chair that they'll see it in committee. So what works really, really well is if you email the chair of the committee that you want to have your measure adopted in, and then they can email us saying we're adopting this measure. For submitting measures, I do prefer that, right? We get more transparency, gets seen on first reading, all that good stuff. But I know that I've been a little late on my replies lately. I've been dealing with a personal emergency for the past week. It'll probably be dealing with it for the next week or so. And that includes the senator one-on-ones, why those haven't gone out. So if I'm behind, just send me another email and I'll tell you that I'm too busy and to go find someone else, but I will tell you the right person to go to. And lastly, if y'all can please fill out that DLEG feedback form so I can fill out my transition file as much as possible. You don't have to identify yourself. You don't have to introduce legislation. Just answer the questions you can. You can just write no in the required questions if you want. But it'll really make sure that I can pass that information on to the next DLEG and help them have a successful tenure.
Any questions for DLEG Bonifant? Seeing none, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, Chair Holmes.
I think it was last week or maybe a week and a half ago that an Rso reached out to me regarding funding for events. And thanks to Senator Mole, I got some information on that. And I think it was Chair Block too. Thank you. So they wanted to know, they ran into a problem when it came to asking for funding because they were trying to do it before the deadline and everything. And let me pull up the email. They said that they needed to, they were asking to how they re-register their organization. They weren't really sure how to do that. So did you have any pointers on how I can respond to that email and ask them, how they can re-register?
Yep. So that re-registration is done through OSI in court is how they need to do that. So they just usually need to resubmit their constitution, make sure their offices are updated, and they'll have more court will have more information on that.
Thank you so much.
Anyone else with questions? Seeing none, thank you. Deputy Pro Tempore Senate Relations Report, none. Caucus reports, APIA Caucus, Chair Temple.
All right, good evening, or magandang gabi, Senate. So in caucus, we had a chair election, and I was the result, and I'm now the new chair. And we had voted to sponsor a proclamation that would recognize ongoing events in the Philippines, and that will be seen through SBA this coming Monday, I believe. As a reminder, APAM dates are between the 14th of March and the 16th of April. So I do highly encourage you guys to show up and show out for your fellow Asian American students. And I do highly encourage you all to attend or join the caucus, which are held bi-weekly on Tuesdays at 12:30. If you're interested, feel free to approach me after this meeting or anytime throughout the week.
Any questions for Chair Temple? Seeing none, thank you. Block Caucus, Chair Holmes.
Alrighty. So in our last meeting, we discussed and solidified some of the details for our Melanated and Making History event, which will be on Monday, February 21st from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. We officially have 5 RSOs attending and presenting 4 awards: free food, music, and promo. There will be throwbacks. So if you love early 2000s music and 90s music, that will be playing. And if you are a lead scholar, you can gain an impact credit for attendance. We are also writing a anti-racist pledge based resolution that Coordinator Lee asked for our support on. We are also looking to collaborate with Women's Caucus with their brunch and safety walk that will be occurring in March. And lastly, the next meeting will be on February 28th at 3 p.m. In the conference room or via Zoom. It's hybrid. So if you have any collaboration ideas that you would like to, bring up to me, I know this session is coming to an end, but if I do not end up being caucus chair again, I can always bring it up if there is going to be another caucus chair. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's it.
Any questions for Chair Holmes, Chair Temple?
Is Coordinator Lee looking to have other caucuses help with an anti-racist pledge?
Honestly, I can't speak for her, but I don't see why not. You know what I'm saying? Because anti-racist pledge is not just for Black people, for lack of better terms.
Deliberative Bonifant.
Yeah, so I've also spoken with Coordinator Lee regarding the pledge, and I did encourage her to reach out to the Hispanic Latinx Caucus and APA caucuses.
Thank you. Anyone else with questions? Seeing none, thank you. Disability Caucus, Chair Cerisi.
Well, hello, everyone. Disability Caucus held our rescheduled meeting earlier this week where we discussed plans for our Disability Awareness Fair, which will be occurring on Tuesday, March 15th from 2 to 5 at Memory Mall. I would love to see you guys all there. We meet hybrid Thursdays bi-weekly at 12:30 in the Student Government Conference Room. Please let me know if you need the Zoom link. And then finally, to continue my tradition of showcasing prominent African Americans with disabilities in honor of Black History Month, tonight I will be highlighting Muhammad Ali. Besides being regarded as one of the greatest professional boxers of all time, Ali also had a learning disability, dyslexia. Because of his condition, he could barely read, and his teachers told him he was dumb and therefore could never be successful. However, he would come to prove them wrong and even became a huge advocate for better educational opportunities for students with dyslexia and other learning disabilities.
Thank you. Any questions for Chair Cerisi? Seeing none, thank you. Hispanic Latinx Caucus, Vice Chair Boysen.
Hi, everyone. So a few things from our caucus. The Latinos in Action Conference will be March 4th. We need about 100 volunteers, so please sign up. There's different shifts. You can honestly be there as long as you'd like. You don't have to be there for too long. But basically, it's going to be with a bunch of middle school and high school students from around the area to engage them in college preparation, especially the Hispanic population around UCF and in the Orange County area. So please sign up to be a volunteer. You do have to take a quick 5 to 10 minute youth protection course because we are dealing with minors. By tomorrow at 5 p.m. That's very important. And then there's also a survey linked. This is very, very important. Dr. Muñiz came directly to the Hispanic Caucus and asked us to please spread the survey because there's a new federal grant out to help us support our HSI title, and it's for a lot of HSI institutions. So we finally have that title. So this is another grant that will be used to support our faculty, our staff, and our just overall Hispanic serving institution and all the services that we offer. So please take it. Doesn't take very long and anybody can take it. So specifically straight from Dr. Muñiz. That's all.
Thank you. Any questions for Vice Chair Boysen? Seeing none, LGBTQ+ Caucus, Chair Bertram.
Good evening, everybody. This week, caucus voted to sponsor Resolution 5336, which will be seen later tonight. Tomorrow, I will be meeting with LGBTQ+ services and SJA to discuss updates with the Pride Commons initiative at Rosen. And our next meeting is March 3rd at 12 p.m. That's all.
Any questions for Chair Bertram? Seeing none, thank you. Women's Caucus, Vice Chair Costas.
Hey guys, so it doesn't seem like Chair Gell is here, so I'll make some announcements for the caucus. This week we had a really big and eventful meeting where we talked about a lot of ideas and discussed some plans for the upcoming events we have set up for the semester, such as the brunch and safety walk that Chair Holmes discussed earlier. And we also welcomed a few new members, and it was great to see so many faces joining the caucus and helping us fight the good fight.
Any questions for Vice Chair Costas? Seeing none, thank you. Unfinished business, none. Fiscal Committee caucus time, FAO 10 minutes. I'll just say 8:10. I hereby recess Senate at 8:10 and to reconvene at 8:20.
Hey, you guys, FAO is going to start real quick, if that's okay. Just.
Pro Temp Rep.
Are you the
Oh, okay. 6 out of 5, quorum is verified.
Okay, awesome. Approval of the minutes. If everyone wants to take a look at yesterday's minutes, and I'll take a motion. Yes.
Good. Move to approve last meeting's minutes.
Awesome. There's been a motion to approve last meeting's minutes. Are there any objections? All right, seeing none, that was approved by general consent. Approval of the agenda. We're just going to be seeing one allocation real quick today. So is there a motion to approve today's agenda? All right, approved by general consent. Announcements from the chair. Budget update, same as yesterday. We haven't read anything into Senate minutes yet, so it's in yesterday's minutes in the tracker. There's the supporting documents, and I just copied the allocation document from yesterday. It should take you directly there. Announcements from the vice chair, none. Announcements from committee members, none. Announcements from non-committee members, none. Old business allocations, allocation 53202. Let me pull this up here. All right, the allocation, the RSO, the University of Central Florida Trumpet, is it Guild? Is that how you pronounce it? Guild, perfect. Okay, requesting funds for an event to be held on March 15th. Like I said, we offered to caucus because if we didn't see it this week, we wouldn't be able to fund it due to the 15 business day allocation timeline. So if you just want to talk a little bit about your RSO, what you're requesting the funding for, and that'd be great.
Thank you. My name is Kaylee. I'm representing the UCF Trumpet Guild. And we're requesting funding for the Palisade Trumpet Collective to come and teach a masterclass to our students and to perform a recital for the community. And yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Just for the committee real quick before we jump into questions. As of yesterday, we didn't have the room confirmation, but that's now in the supporting document. So we do have all documentation. We do have the quote in the form of an email, and we do have confirmation of the net 30 policy. DSER Magdadar. So noted at 8:14 p.m. We are now online for questioning. Do any members of the committee have any questions for the RSO? All right, seeing none, we will now be in debate. Anyone wishing to debate on the allocation? or if, yep, send. All right, there's been a motion to vote on allocation 53202. Are there any objections? All right, seeing none, we'll now be in voting procedures. All those in favor, raise your hand. All those against. Okay. Sorry. Okay, let's do that again. All those in favor? Okay, all those against? All those abstaining? With a vote count of 7-0, the allocation has been approved. So you are all set. I will send it to the business office tomorrow, and you can expect to hear back from them hopefully by the end of business day next Friday. If you haven't heard anything, just reach out to me, and I can check on that for you. Yeah, of course.
My friend is in it, so if I do, I'll ask her.
I'm just trying to figure out where it's like a easy.
Alrighty, I hereby reconvene the Senate at 8:25 p.m. Fiscal Committee reports, CRT Committee Chair Block.
Hi, guys. This week in committee, we approved 14 total allocations. You can see them listed out there. I'm not going to read them and bore you all to death. We postponed 5, and we adopted and passed fiscal bills 5344 and 5345 in committee. Our deadline for bills has passed, and we will close our applications for new allocation requests on March 14th. And with that, I yield for Taylor's Tasty Treats.
Hello, guys. So this week was pretty polarizing with the mint Oreos. We did get some great quotes. Pro Temp Kehoe said, "It's like you're brushing your teeth and eating dessert at the same time," but he meant it in a good way. And he challenged anyone who disagreed him to a fight. Senator Gels said that they were a rush of coolness and a sensational feeling, while Richard simply said, "I didn't eat one." The dissenting opinions ranged from stale to, "If I wanted to eat toothpaste, I would."
I just want to say I live for this segment. It's amazing. Anyone else with questions? Alrighty, seeing none. Thank you. FAO Committee Chair Matan.
All right. Hello. Good evening, everyone. Oh my gosh, I can't speak today. But there's the budget update for you. I won't bore you with the numbers. This week in FAO allocations, we did approve 6, and then we approved additional during caucus today. If we would have waited till next week, the event date would have been too close and we wouldn't have been able to fund it. So I reached out to the RSO about caucusing to ensure that we could fund them. We also postponed 3. In addition, we adopted 2 fiscal bills in committee. Fiscal Bill 53. Well, I need to change those numbers. 5347 was passed first reading with a vote count of 7-0, and Fiscal Bill 5346. So we did adopt it in committee to find out a few seconds later that they weren't there. So I already reached out to them, and they will be in committee next week. So everything's all set. As Chair Block mentioned, the allocation deadline is March 14th, but most importantly, the FAO bill deadline is this upcoming Monday, February 21st. So if any RSOs are looking to apply for an FAO bill request, make sure that they're aware the deadline is coming up. And as always, reach out to me if you or constituents, RSOs, have any questions.
Any questions for Chair Matan? Seeing none, thank you. RS Committee Chair Richardson.
Hi all. ORS did not meet this week as I was out of the state. I felt that it would be best if I was present for the upcoming business that we have, as the information regarding certain circumstances with the RSOs we'll be seeing would be best understood if I was there to explain and answer questions. ORS has open seats, so if you'd like to have say in which RSOs are sanctioned and which aren't, I'd highly suggest joining and contributing to the discussion.
Anyone with questions? Seeing none, thank you. Fiscal Legislation. Notice of legislation on first reading. Bills. Fiscal Bill 5348. Funding for 18 members of Formula Student to travel to the Formula SIE, Michigan, in Brooklyn, Michigan, from May 18, 2022 to May 21st, 2022, introduced by Senator Simcoe, is hereby remanded to CRT. Fiscal Bill 5349, funding for four members of Institute of Industrial and Systems Engineers to travel to the IISE Annual Conference and Expo 2022 in Seattle, Washington, from May 20th, 2022 to May 25th, 2022, introduced by Chair Block, is hereby remanded to CRT. Fiscal Bill 5350, funding for 22 members of Knights Experimental Rocketry to travel to the Friends of Amateur Rocketry 51025 contest in Mojave, California. I'm so sorry. From June 3rd, 2022 to June 5th, 2022, introduced by DPT Bonifant, is hereby remanded to CRT. Fiscal Bill 5351, funding for 7 members of Society of Information Display to travel to Display Week 2022 in San Jose, California, from May 10th, 2022 to May 13th, 2022, introduced by Senator Hedman, is hereby remanded to CRT. And lastly, Fiscal Bill 5352, funding for 16 members of Financial Management Association to travel to the 2022 Money Show Las Vegas Investment Conference in Las Vegas, Nevada, in May 9, 2022 to May 11, 2022, introduced by Chair Matan, is hereby remanded to CRT. Resolutions none, special acts none. Notice of legislation on third reading. Bills. Fiscal Bill 5340, funding for 24 members of student professionals for industrial organizational psychology to travel to the 2022 Society for Industrial Organizational Psychology annual conference in Seattle, Washington from April 27th, 2022 to April 30th, 2022, introduced by Deezer Magdadaro. Is there a motion for speeches, questioning, and debate? Chair Temple.
Move for 3-minute speeches, unlimited questioning, unlimited debate.
There's been a motion for 3-minute speeches, unlimited questioning, and unlimited debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, the motion will stand. Deezer Magdadaro.
Yes, so they requested for me to represent them tonight. They were pretty happy with the conversation in the last meeting, and as far as I know, there have not been any major changes. So what we saw 2 weeks ago is pretty much what we're seeing now.
Any questions? You're now in line for questioning. Deezer Magdadaro.
Move to go to debate.
There's been a motion to go to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now there. Anyone wishing to debate? Chair Block.
It's beautiful. I love that the numbers are even. They add up well. May I retain?
You may.
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote on Fiscal Bill 5340. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we will now be in voting procedures. With a vote count of 23 to 0, Fiscal Bill 5340 passes third reading. Alrighty. Resolutions none, special acts none. Notice of legislation on second reading. Bills, Fiscal Bill 5341, funding for 10 members of Pre-Medical American Medical Student Association to travel to the Pre-Med AMSA service trip in Lima, Peru from May 14, 2022 to May 22nd, 2022, introduced by DPT Bonifant. Is there anyone from AMSA here? Welcome.
Hello. Okay. So we're Pre-Med AMSA, UCF's largest pre-med club. This funding is for our upcoming service trip to Lima, Peru. It's for 10 of us. This is our second ever trip. This is our mission. We basically, like I said, are a pre-med club, so we're focused on preparing our students for medical school. So our service trip, like I said, it's our second one. It's with the organization Medlife. And what students will be doing there is working in a mobile clinic, volunteering and shadowing physicians who are helping the underserved population there in a village outside of Lima. And they will be learning about the healthcare system there and then coming back to our organization here and teaching our students about what they learned. And so we're requesting funding for airfare as well as the registration costs that the organization that we're going with is requesting. So this is for the 10 tickets. It's $4,261. And then for the lodging fee / registration fee, it's $11,900. And that's covering like lodging, transportation, all the food, having a chaperone, as well as the medical supplies that they require. And then with COVID, all the students are required to purchase a $49 insurance fee, and that covers in case someone does test positive while we're there, this covers the expenses of medical quarantine if that is necessary. So this is the total expenses that we are anticipating for the trip, $16,161.80. So we are requesting 50% of that, which is $8,080.90.
So I just do have an amendment. So initially we had a price for the tickets as like $378. We finally got the confirmed quote, which is going to be the $426.18. So that's just an update. I don't know if that's still possible, but I just wanted to make that clear.
Thank you. We are now in line for questioning. Chair Block.
Hi, guys. Are you familiar with our post-funding process?
Yes. So we know that if there is any money left back, that we have to go into reversion, and then we would meet with someone. Right?
Chair Block.
May I direct this to Sean?
You may.
Sean, can you please explain the post-funding process?
Okay, so really quickly, just as a point of clarification, real quick, which bill are we referring to? So I can pull up dates.
5341.
Okay, 41. Perfect. Okay, so after this bill passes on third reading, you're going to receive a copy of it. There's two very important dates on the bill. They're both at the very bottom. You'll see that all funds will revert by June 21st. So this is when the funds will be ineligible to be spent anymore. So basically what your RS has to do is they have to meet with the accountants downstairs to spend all of the funds that we allocate to you by that June 21st. And then also on Night Connect is a form called verification of Rso Purchases form. Or you can search like legislative branch under forms. And basically, or search ORS. And basically you just have to fill out this form with like the receipts from like your 50% prior to June 28th. So those are the two deadlines to be on the lookout for.
Thank you. Anyone else with questions? Chair Block.
Do you have any international students attending?
No, we don't.
Deliberative Bonifant.
I'm sorry to spring this on y'all now, but I know that there was a payment deadline for Medlife. Did you get any information back from them on that?
So yes, they were willing to like push it to April 8th, I believe.
They'll push it back to whenever we get funding.
Anyone else with questions? Seeing no hands, we will now be in debate. Vice Chair Costas.
Yeah, I urge you guys all to vote in favor of this fiscal bill. It seems like this RSO really wants to help out the community, and I really love the effort that you guys are putting in to provide medical care, which I know is needed, especially in America and all over the world. So thank you guys for doing that, and I hope you guys can go.
Pro-Tem Kehoe.
Move to see Bonifant's and Wanjan's amendments as a block.
There's been a motion to see Bonifant and Wanjan's amendments as a block. All the amendments on the page. Are there any objections? Seeing none, they will be seen. Would you like to speak on them?
It's fixing the numbers.
Thank you. We are now in line for questioning. Seeing no hands, we will now be in debate. Or anyone willing to make a motion? Chair Matan.
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote on the block of amendments. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we will now be in voting procedures. With a vote count of 20 to 0 to 1, the block of amendments pass. We are still in debate over Fiscal Bill 5341. Chair Cersei. Oh, did you have a motion? Sorry, I thought you had a motion. Oh, so sorry. Chair Temple.
May I retain?
You may not.
Oh,
Sorry.
sorry. But nevertheless, I do support this bill. It seems that this RSO has everything in order, and I am very much thrilled to see a UCF-bound RSO helping out international communities. So that's what we'd like to see.
Deliberative Bonifant.
I encourage you all to vote in favor of this bill. Just some things. If you do have any negative opinions, I would really like to hear them, as this bill needs a 2/3 vote to pass, given that the destination of the trip, as well as I will be moving to see this bill on third reading just to make sure that they can get the payment to the company that the trip is done through in time. And this is in part because the registration is the lion's share of the cost for the measure.
Chair Block.
I guess I'll debate. The last time we saw a trip to Peru, we ended up reverting most of those funds. So I feel a lot better with this one that they have COVID insurance, which allows them to quarantine from what I heard. And so that makes me feel a lot better about being able to fund this one and ensure that they'll still be able to enjoy their conference. So I still feel fully comfortable funding this. And that is my debate.
Anyone else for a debate? Chair Streisand.
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote on Fiscal Bill 5341. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we'll now be in voting procedures. With a vote count of 23 to 0, Fiscal Bill 5341 passes second reading. Alrighty, thank y'all for coming. Oh, they're gonna stay? Okay, sorry. Oh, okay. Fiscal Bill 5342, funding for 20 members of Pre-Medical American Medical Student Association to travel to AMSACon 2022 in Washington, D.C. from April 6, 2022 to April 10, 2022, introduced by DPT Bonifant. You all have 3 minutes whenever you're ready.
Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Ron Krikiakwe. I'm the treasurer for Pre-Med AMSA. So this is an annual trip that we have each year. Obviously, we are an organization designated to prepare our students to become future physicians, and this event does just that. It's basically a networking event where we can learn to meet other doctors that are working in the field right now. It is also giving us the ability to advocate for our members and exactly how to do that and our patients in the future as well. So it's just a great way for us to learn more about how to do that and as well bring it back to our chapter and have UCF be a place where we can advocate for everyone. So in terms of expenses, we're requesting for airfare, registration, and lodging. So the airfare that we do have is JetBlue. The price would be $315.15, and it's for 10 tickets. I know initially it was 20, but I kind of made that change last time. So I just wanted to clarify that as well. So the total will be $3,151.50. For registration, we do get a discount because we're going as a group, so it'd be $179 for all 3 days. And so the total price would be at $1,790. And then for room, it'll be, so there's a clarification. Initially I put 93, but it's $215.93 and 25 of a cent. So that's why there's an extra 5 cents if you do the math. And so the total will be $4,318.65 for the 4 nights. And then so the total is going to be $9,260.15. And so we're requesting $4,630.07. Thank you.
Thank you. We are now live for questioning. Chair Block.
This is more of a point of information. You'll notice some of our numbers are different. We decided to round them in CRT just to give them a little wiggle room because it's the event's in April. So yeah, that's why some of the numbers are a little bit different. I think it's like a $200 difference.
Thank you. Anyone else with questions? Seeing no hands, we will now be in debate. Deliberative Bonifant.
Do you want to see that amendment as a technical or an amendment? Because it's just correcting it with what was on the previous bill that was updated.
I'll see it as a technical. Deliberative Bonifant.
May I retain?
You may.
I encourage you all to vote in favor. Similarly, I'll be moving to see this on third reading, given the dates of the conference. I would like to point out they applied well ahead of time, like at the end of January, I think. It's just with the fiscal hearings, all this other, or not fiscal hearings, the special session, all this other stuff. This is when it made it to second. And I discussed this option with them beforehand. Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote on Fiscal Bill 5342. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we will now be in voting procedures. With a vote count of 22 to 0 to 1, Fiscal Bill 5342 passes second reading. Alrighty. Fiscal Bill 5342, funding for 9 members of Counselor Education doctoral students, organization to travel to the American Counseling Association Conference and Expo in Atlanta, Georgia, from April 7, 2022 to April 10, 2022, introduced by DPT Bonifant. Is there anyone from the RSO here? Alrighty, seeing none. Deliberative Bonifant, you have 3 minutes whenever you're ready.
Yes, so there is a presentation in the drive if you all would like to reference that. So did inform us that they wouldn't be able to be here. Sorry for not pointing that out. So we have funded CEDSO previously, and they are trying to attend their an annual conference for the American Counseling Association. CEDSO is a RSO of doctoral students, so going to conferences, as I tell you, and as you all probably know, is very important for graduate students for networking purposes, for progressing through the program purposes. And the information about the quotes is all in the presentation. If I checked it all right, their dates, not their dates, their all the numbers add up, but I'm happy to take any questions.
We are now in line for questioning. Chair Temple.
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to go to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now there. Chair Bertram.
A question for Deliberative Bonifant, if I may. Was the RSO briefed about the post-funding process?
This measure was initially assigned to another senator, so I actually took it over just today. Let me just see. I am trying to remember what I include in the template. Let me go look. I do not include anything in the email I sent out to them. I include in the senators about the post-funding process, but I will definitely reach out to them so they're aware. As I say, they have been funded before, so they should be somewhat familiar, but I don't know if they reverted because it was quite some time ago.
Chair Mitchinson.
I believe, Ariane, correct me if I'm wrong, but we had asked them in committee and they're familiar.
Anyone else with debate, questioning, a motion? I'll see Jacobs as a technical and Bonifant's as a technical too. Chairs to receive.
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote on Fiscal Bill 5344. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we'll now be in voting procedures. With a vote count of 21 to 0, Fiscal Bill 5344 passes second reading. Alrighty, Fiscal Bill 5345. We just saw that actually. Fiscal Bill 5347, funding for night riders to host Night Riders Track Weekend in Jennings, Florida on April 16, 2022, introduced by DBT Bonifant. Is anyone from Night Riders here? Welcome.
Hi, so my name is Carter Dabney. I'm the president of UCF Night Riders. So we every semester hold a track event. Can you go? Would it be possible for you to pull up that YouTube video? It's just a quick 30-second video, just kind of like videos of the track and just some of what our control riders have to say about the track and its importance.
Just be smart, okay? Listen to your body.
Stay safe, have fun, let's do it.
Street guy that's never been on the track, it's a great way to learn defensive riding.
So you really get a feel for the weight of your motorcycle, how to move your body on the motorcycle.
You learn what your machine is capable of.
Helping them make better decisions when it comes to coming up to events.
So as you can see, it said SGA there, so we have been doing this for a little while. But so the main purpose is to really put the we're really big about safety. This is what they wear on the track. We're very big about just being safe and making sure students have that safe space to really know what their machine is capable of, and it can help on road situations, and just to have the environment of practicing all these different techniques on the same track time over time to really practice your corners and everything is really important. It is one of only 2 tracks, and it is the track that is cheaper and just more accessible to students. We do, again, we're very big on safety. We have people working at almost all the turns to make sure if there's any incident that we're very quick to respond. Rarely happens. Requirements to participate, you have to be wearing all of that and then some. And you do have to have your motorcycle endorsement as well. You obviously have to know how to operate a motorcycle to be able to attend. As you can see, it's more of the equipment, and I have a life model right here. And the total cost of the event is $10,950. The track rental itself is $8,500. We do give safety or rent out safety equipment from the track for students. We rent out 10 suits and boots, so all they need to have is their glove, helmet. And then we do have a tire service so that students aren't really trying to stretch tires while they're out on the track into something that they shouldn't be using. And so we are asking you guys for 50% of that. Thank you so much. COVID-19, COVID is still happening. Any policies put on UCF's campus will be followed at the track. It is an outdoor event and all the pits are 6 feet apart.
Thank you. We are now live for questioning. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
So hello, everybody. My name is Mills. I'm the treasurer of the club, and I just wanted to reinforce everything that our President Carter he said. So I do want to reinforce the fact that it is very rare for students to get the kind of one-on-one coaching that they get at our events. And the word safety, you've heard a million times, but I do want to say it just one more time. If you're on the street, it really helps to know what you're doing. And the place that you learn that is at an event just like ours.
Thank you. We are now live for questioning. Vice Chair Boyson.
Hi, thank you so much for coming. Super interesting. I do have a quick question. How did you pick who's gonna, or how many people are gonna be there and who are they? Is it just open to students, to open to the public? How is that gonna work?
So we do have like a sign up process because we do rent out like the track. We can't necessarily, I'm gonna restart. I'm sorry. I'm trying to think of a word. So we do have like a 2-week signing process where only students are allowed to sign up for the track. Then it's open 2 weeks for alumni and other students from other universities. We do have a lot of Embry-Riddle students that actually come out. And then after that, we do open it to the general public, but there still is that 4-week period before where it is strictly students and alumni and other students as well.
Chair Block.
Are you aware of your requirement to submit verification of purchase forms?
Yes.
Anyone else with questions? Seeing no hands, we will now be in debate. Vice Chair Foster.
Yeah, we saw this in a FAO committee this week. I think it's really interesting. I don't see a lot of events like this. I don't even really hear about the bike community here at UCF. It's really safe. You know, they're like following all the COVID protocols, and they even have a pretty cool video. It's been funded before by student government because they showed the YouTube video back when we were SGA. And I highly encourage you to vote in favor. And I definitely want to hear about the trip should it pass.
D-Leg Bonifant.
Mayor Ratain? Just kidding. I encourage you all to vote in favor. I chose to represent Night Riders explicitly because of the event. It is so freaking cool. Something you might not know about me, I'm a huge motorcycle racing fan. So I have literally every semester, I'm like, I know you guys have your track day, let me know. And they did email me recently, and I'm like, yes, apply. They have even been really diligent about the re-registration process because they had to get re-registered. I gushed at them for like 5 minutes before the meeting about how excited I was. They seem really prepared, and I encourage you all to vote in favor.
Chair Maton.
Real quickly, just for transparency and consistency sake, we did discuss this in FAO because the event is being held in Jennings, Florida, which is outside the 20-mile radius that we can fund per our spending policy. We will have to vote to suspend the spending policy or vote to suspend the spending policy in order to approve this bill. Like the RSO mentioned, they've done this for years. So we have done this in the past. It's the safest and closest, cheapest track that they can use for this event. So with that, may I retain? Yeah.
So yeah, I actually spoke to Brody during the meeting, just kidding, because I did know about this and I knew it beforehand. And I also saw that y'all talked about it in your minutes. And interestingly enough, the way the statutes currently appear on the website, which is supposed to be the most current version, don't include the suspension that we added some time ago. So we've decided if we vote 2/3 in favor, then that should be okay.
Chair Maton.
With that, move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote on Fiscal Bill 5347. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we will now be in voting procedures. With a vote count of 22 to 0 to 1, Fiscal Bill 5347 passes second reading. Alrighty. Sorry. Alrighty. Resolutions, none. Special acts, none. Internal committee caucus time, none. Internal committee reports. E&A committee chair. Oh, I'm so sorry. D-Leg Bonifant. So sorry.
It's all good. I forgot to. Move to return to approval of the agenda.
There's been a motion to return to approval of the agenda. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now there.
Move to add fiscal bills 5341 and 5342 to fiscal legislation, notice of legislation on third reading.
There's been a motion to add fiscal bills 5341 and 42 to fiscal legislation, notice of legislation on third reading. Are there any objections? Do you object? Do you withdraw?
Yes.
Vice Chair Richard.
I just wanted to ask about adding 5344 because I know the Rso expressed a little bit of concern about timing for funding, so I think that would be helpful for them.
Move to see fiscal bills, or move to add fiscal bill 5341, 5342, and 5344 to fiscal legislation, notice of legislation on third reading.
Chair Block.
I spoke with the RSO before and they said they were planning on coming to our next meeting for Senate. So I'm not sure if we should reach out to them and see if they want us to see it on third. I don't know. They said they were planning on coming on the 24th. So it's up to you guys knowing that.
Do you like Bonifant?
Move to amend the motion.
Yeah.
To remove, not include fiscal bill 5344, I guess.
Okay, so there's been a motion to add fiscal bills 53, 41, and 42 to fiscal legislation, notice of legislation on third reading. Are there any objections? Seeing none, the motion will be seen. Do you like Bonifant?
Yeah, so as I stated,
to approve the agenda, sorry.
Sorry,
No,
right.
you're good.
Told you. I remembered 2 out of 3. I feel like that counts. Move to approve the agenda.
There's been a motion to approve the agenda. Are there any objections? Seeing none, the agenda stands approved. Do you like Bonifant?
Move to go to fiscal legislation, notice of legislation on third reading.
There's been a motion to return to fiscal legislation, notice of legislation on third reading. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now there. Fiscal legislation, notice of legislation on third reading. Bills, fiscal bill 5341. For the funding for 10 members of Pre-Medical American Medical Student Association to travel to the Pre-Med AMSIS service trip in Lima, Peru from May 14, 2022 to May 22nd, 2022, introduced by D-Leg Bonifant.
Yeah, so I did make an amendment that might be considered as a technical because it was just updating that amount. I missed it on this bill, but caught it on the other. I don't know. When I initially wrote them, they had an allocation at the beginning of the fiscal year. On the other hand, I also would like to assuage any worries about the post-funding process. The treasurers in my lab, I see them on a pretty regular basis, so I can easily update them on anything that they need to get done. With that, I yield to questions.
We are now in line for questioning. Chair Temple.
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to go to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now there. Chair Temple.
May I retain?
You may.
We had just seen this bill. It looks good. Can't wait to see them go to Lima. Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote on fiscal bill 5341. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now there. We will now be in voting procedures. With a vote count of 24 to 0, Fiscal Bill 5341 passes third reading. Alrighty, Fiscal Bill 5342, funding for 20 members. Is it 20? Okay. Sorry. Funding for 10 members of Pre-Medical American Medical Student Association to travel to AMSACON 2022 in Washington, D.C. from April 6, 2022 to April 10, 2022. Introduced by D-Leg Bonifant.
Yeah, same as the shared debate previous, same RSO, so I will be able to easily have contact with them throughout the post-funding process. I yield to questions.
We are now in line for questioning. Chair Wanjin.
I should have asked this while the RSO was still here, but it just came up. Oh, you are still here. Do you have any, or are the 10 members coming on this trip the same as the Peru trip? No. Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else with questions? Chair Temple.
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to go to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now there. Chair Temple.
May I retain?
You may.
I'm getting deja vu here. These guys look good. Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote on Fiscal Bill 5342. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we'll now be in voting procedures. With a vote count of 24 to 0, Fiscal Bill 5342 passes third reading. Alrighty. Resolutions none, special acts none, notice of legislation on second reading already did. Internal committee caucus time none. Internal committee reports. E&A committee chair Wanjin.
Hey everyone, this week in E&A, we adopted Resolution 5333 in committee, which we'll be seeing tonight. We also reviewed Title 6, Chapter 604 and 605, and discussed changing 604.1G to allow candidates to use any official name provided by the university on the ballot rather than just their legal name. Obviously, any changes made to Title 6 at this point in time would not affect the current election. We're also still looking for a vice chair if anyone is interested.
Anyone with questions? Seeing none, thank you. GAP committee, Vice Chair Boyson.
Hi, so good evening, y'all. Last week in committee, we organized tabling for Vice Chair Costas' wonderful UCF PD Town Hall event. This week in committee, we adopted resolutions 5334, 5335, and 5336, which all passed favorably. We also wrote thank you cards to the Florida legislators for an incredible day at the Capitol event. Lastly, this Monday, February 21st from 2 to 4 p.m., we'll be having a plants, politics, and popsicles event, just like President Hall had mentioned earlier. This is a voter registration event and includes popsicles and a plant sale. She wrote plant exhibit. It's a plant sale. And if anybody has any questions, please reach out to Chair Galloway. That's all from us.
Any questions for Vice Chair Boyson? Seeing none, thank you. LGR Committee Chair Hall.
So hi everyone. This week we saw 7 absence requests. You guys can look at all of them in the votes there in the minutes if you want. We also went over Title 12, which we had tabled from the meeting before, and we introduced Title 13. So if you're interested in learning about statute review, we meet Tuesdays at noon, and we do have open seats. And also, when you guys submit absence requests, please, please, please submit documentation. And this includes if you miss a meeting because you're sick. I know sometimes that can be hard to directly document. So documentation for that can look like, for example, if you told me or someone else in Senate the day of or the day before that you were sick and weren't going to make it, you can submit like text messages or an email as documentation as well if you don't want to like share private medical records with the committee, because that is totally understandable. And yep, that's it.
Any questions for Chair Hall? Seeing none, thank you. SBA Committee Chair Bertram.
Hello, everybody. This week, SBA workshopped many of the Eternal Nights proclamations, which are coming along well. Friendly reminder to those that have volunteered and have not emailed me the link to your proclamation, please do so before SBA meets on Monday so the committee is able to take a look at all of them prior to submitting them. The goal is to have all of them submitted to the Pro Tem's office by next week. So if your name is listed, I still need the link to your proclamation. We also tabled at the UCFPD Town Hall, which was a great success. So shout out to everybody who helped put that event together. And then lastly, SBA voted to sponsor Resolution 5336, which will be seen later tonight.
Any questions for Chair Bertram? Seeing none, thank you. Confirmations, none. Internal legislation, notice of legislation on first reading, none. Notice of legislation on third reading, constitutional amendments, none. Bills, Internal Bill 5326, updates to Title III, enacting a vote of no confidence process for legislative assistance, introduced by Chair Wanjin. You have 3 minutes whenever you're ready.
Hey everyone, this bill hasn't changed since it was passed on second reading 2 weeks ago. Just to refresh everyone, this bill is instating an official no confidence process for legislative assistance in Title III, as there is one set out for every other leadership position in Senate. Yield to questioning.
We are now live for questioning. Tisha Magdadarum.
Move to go to debate.
There's been a motion to go to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now there. Tisha Magdadarum.
I will be voting in favor for this. Last time we saw it, we had really no major issues with it. And it's also something that could potentially be in practice, I guess, but anyway, it's something that should be outlined in statutes. Therefore, I will be voting in favor for this.
Anyone else with debate? Or a motion? Chair Matan.
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote on Internal Bill 5326. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we'll now be in voting procedures. With a vote count of 22 to 0 to 1, Internal Bill 5326 passes third reading. Resolutions none, special acts none, notice of legislation on second reading, constitutional amendments none, bills none, resolutions, Resolution 5333, resolution adding a referendum vote asking students if they support hourly wages for student leadership roles within student government to the 54th session ballot, introduced by Chair Block. You have 3 minutes whenever. Chair Mitchinson.
Move to PPI resolution 53, and I can't see that number, 33.
There's been a motion to PPI resolution 5333.
You can do it however you want to.
Are there any objections? You object? Mm-hmm.
So why PPI 5333?
Okay, so basically, after having some conversations with some people and due to bigger politics, me and Chair Block have made the decision to basically withdraw this piece of legislation.
Anyone else with questions or any objection? Sorry. Alrighty, seeing none, resolution 5333 is PPI'd. Resolution 5334, resolution advocating for the University of Central Florida to oppose the passing of Florida House Bill 5 and Florida Senate Bill 146, introduced by Vice Chair Costas. You have 3 minutes whenever you're ready.
Okay, guys. This bill is going to sound like a lot, but just hear me out. So SB 146 and Florida House Bill 5 are essentially anti-abortion bills. Now, in regards to your stance on abortions, we can talk about that outside of Senate, but these bills do something bigger than just ideological attacks on abortions. The Supreme Court ruled in 1973 that abortions can only be outlawed by the state during the third trimester. The third trimester is at, sorry about that. The third trimester is about 24 weeks into the pregnancy. And for these bills, the state was looking to outlaw abortions at 15 weeks in. Now, as all of us are senators and legislators in this body, I think it's our duty to make sure that these policies and these rules that have been established by the United States Supreme Court are upheld. When we all stand up here for the Pledge of Allegiance and National Anthem, this is what we're standing for, is to make sure that these rules are not just pushed aside by some people who want to use their ideology to pass whatever they want. Also, other than the unconstitutionality of these bills, which is extremely important and which should make all of you guys want to vote against it, it also affects UCF students in a variety of ways, especially UCF students that are people of color and low income. As you can see, if you are a person of color, if you are low income, access to an abortion is already extremely difficult. And also, the third point, which is extremely important in my opinion, is we went today at the Capitol to advocate for bills against or combating human trafficking. These bills would say to women that have been raped, have been victims of incest, or have been victims of human trafficking, if you come to get an abortion after 15 weeks, we can deny you that care. Picture in your head somebody who is a victim of human trafficking and they somehow escape captivity at 16 weeks and they go to the doctor and ask for an abortion, which, keep in mind, constitutionally they can do during the second trimester, and they get denied because the Florida state government decided to unconstitutionally outlaw abortion. In my opinion, this is what we should stand for, and I think caring about UCF students of all races and of all incomes, of all backgrounds is important. And I don't want our day at the Capitol to be a waste of time and a slap in the face. So let's please pass this. Thank you.
Thank you. We are now in line for questioning. Senator Dench.
2, if I may.
You may.
Did you run or were you appointed on the premise of advocating for abortion rights?
No.
So then you have no idea if your 1,000 constituents in your college, how they feel about this issue?
I do know that there are some students that are in the College of Sciences that are for abortion, but like I said, disregarding my ideological attitudes towards abortion, this is about governmental policies that we should be supporting, and we should make sure that as legislators who stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance and have a flag right over there, make sure that we don't let that go to waste.
Anyone else with questions? Vice Chair Boyson.
It's not a question, but as a sponsor of this resolution, can I also answer Senator Dench's question or no? It's okay if not.
Sure.
Okay. For your question, truly, I don't believe that. Let's say there are constituents that are not necessarily for this. Let's say that they are pro moving the abortion date to 15 weeks. I don't necessarily think that that will truly affect them because these people are probably never looking to have an abortion in their life. So truly it's only affecting the people that are willing to have an abortion and do want one in the future if the circumstances arise. So truly the people that might be against this are probably never looking to go for an abortion. So would this really affect them? That's all.
Anyone else with questions? Senator Moe.
May I similarly speak as a sponsor of this bill?
Sure.
All right. Yeah, so Obviously, we don't know the opinions of every 1,000 student in our college that we represent, but what we do know is that we are here to represent students, and that surely within those 1,000 students, there are people who feel that way. And I feel as though it's my duty to represent those students who do feel that way. And if they don't feel as though I'm representing them, we have an election that's coming up in the next month.
Anyone else with questions or a motion? Chair Holmes.
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to go to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we'll now be in debate. Chair Holmes.
So as a sponsor of this bill, obviously I'm going to ask that you vote in favor of this bill. And I would like to emphasize on the legislation that we passed in previous weeks. Proclamation 5309 does emphasize, especially in here, that minorities have less access to healthcare. That is something that we live in today. It has been prevalent in the past. And I just want to let you know that with limited access to healthcare, it's really hard to get contraceptions, which can lead to, letting them seek for abortions. And banning abortions will perpetuate the cycle of poverty, as you know that taking care of kids is a lot of money. And the fact that someone is not educated on sexual education or how to prevent unwanted pregnancies, this can be their last resort. So as a minority who comes from a family that has been homeless several times and hasn't received sexual education, I ask that you vote highly on this bill, just as there are, health disparities and education disparities between minorities, and some people just aren't educated on sexual education. I wasn't in high school or middle school. So and with that, I ask you to vote highly in favor. Thank you.
Chair Temple.
So as a sponsor of this bill as well, I do highly encourage my fellow senators to vote in favor for this resolution. And as somebody who has delved deep into the numbers and into the statistics and all the information regarding what this bill can do, and as somebody who cannot get an abortion for very obvious reasons, I do have to say that it is shocking that a legislature would go so far as to do that. But I'm not going to argue that. Instead, we are to represent the students of University of Central Florida, which includes women. Women are humans. They do not need to be limited in what they can do. So to reiterate, I highly encourage my fellow senators to vote in favor of this resolution.
Anyone else with debate? Or willing to make a motion? D. Bonifant.
Move to see my amendments as a block.
There's been a motion to see Chair Bonifant's amendments D. Bonifant's amendments as a block. Are there any objections? Seeing none, would you like to speak on them?
Yep. So I'm correcting some of the citations of woman or women, as women are not the only people who can receive abortions. Anyone that can become pregnant, which is not necessarily a woman. Anyone who has a uterus, which is not necessarily a woman, can become pregnant and therefore can seek abortion as healthcare. I did not correct some of them, as you will notice, just because those were citations. I tried to look them up really quickly, and those cited women, I don't want to correct those because I don't know how they performed the study and misrepresent their data.
We are now live for questioning. Seeing no hands, we will now be in debate. Chair Temple.
May I retain?
You may.
Seems pretty straightforward. I do concur with the amendments made. Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote on the block of amendments. Block of D. Bonifant's amendments. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we will now be in voting procedures. With a vote count of 21-0-2, the block of amendments pass. Anyone else wishing to make a motion or further debate? Chair Sorry. Chair Temple.
Move to vote on the bill as a whole.
I will not see that as there's an amendment on the page.
I withdraw.
Vice Chair Costas.
Move to see my amendment.
There's been a motion to see Vice Chair Costas' amendment. Are there any objections? Seeing none, would you like to speak on it?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. It was just an incorrect whereas clause, so I think it'd be better if we removed it.
We are now in line for questioning. Seeing no hands, we will now be in debate. Chair Temple.
Move to vote on the amendment.
There's been a motion to vote on the amendment. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we will now be in voting procedures. With a vote count of 20 to 0 to 2, the amendment passes. We are now in debate over Resolution 34. Chair Maton.
All right, so I just wanted to put this out here real quick because I read through this bill yesterday, or the resolution, I'm so sorry. I think the only thing where my head is at in regard to this resolution, I know this topic, I know not getting into politics or anything like that, like it's outside the door, but just the topic of this bill, a lot of people, a lot of students have different feelings on it, and I just don't know how I feel about generalizing, because obviously we're here to represent students, and I don't know how I'd feel generalizing the opinion of 70,000 students on a topic like this. So I really just wanted to put that out there, and if anyone has more debate, I don't know, that's just where my head is at right now.
Chair Hall.
Yeah, so I actually kind of agree with that. And I want to start by saying it's very clear that this bill was very well researched. A lot of thought went into it. So UCF, we're a university of 70,000 people. When we pass resolutions like this, I don't necessarily know that there's a reason for us to generalize the opinion of the entire student body of UCF on an issue this controversial. I think if something is unconstitutional, there are people above our pay grade that can figure that out, and this bill could be struck down in the future. But I definitely know, putting my personal opinions aside, I know people that agree with the sentiments of this resolution and people that probably wouldn't. And I don't know that it's fair for us to put all of UCF student bodies' names on this bill when we send it to legislatures.
Vice Chair Costas.
I definitely hear your guys' sentiments. I know we try to make this student body as nonpartisan as possible, but like I said, we could easily say we're not speaking for the opinions of the students in regards to abortion. In my opinion, we could easily say we're trying to stand up for the governmental processes and legislatures that we occupy and that we live under, and I don't think any entity should have the power to just move around and maneuver the governmental processes that exist. For us to imagine if we just started saying, yeah, we don't like what Chief Justice Camara did and we're going to overturn everything she's doing because of our own ideological drives. We wouldn't appreciate that, and I don't appreciate that the government of Florida is just overriding what has been ruled by the Supreme Court.
Chair Mitchinson.
I just want to share similar sentiments to Chair Matan. I think that as a student body senate, we know that there are constituents on both sides of the political argument that we're now getting into. And I think that we're kind of getting into a place where we are picking and choosing which constituents we choose to represent. I think that, this is an issue that, should be covered. But I think that, us as a student body senate shouldn't be the ones covering this issue, because we are, representatives of the 72,000 students that go to school here, and not all of them share the same, views that we are now saying that they do. But yeah, that's my debate.
Vice Chair Richard.
So I understand the sentiment of both sides. I just wanted to make a suggestion. Maybe that would make everybody feel comfortable if you wanted to reword the legislation to just bring more awareness to what is being passed and include information and facts of both sides. Maybe that would be able to represent our population better instead of choosing a side for a mass population. We cannot speak for them.
Deliberative Bonifant.
As many other senators have mentioned, of course, there's a diversity of opinion at a university with over 70,000 students and more than that in administrators and staff. And I do think it is important to recognize that we are representing those students, but this is the opinion of the Senate. And as far as our governing documents state, that's what our measures are. And I also think that this is about what is in the interest of the student body, which we do state in this measure, and it's specifically on these measures of legislation, which while they do cover the topic of abortion as healthcare, it is at the end of the day just legislation. And I think we obviously have spoken for the students in times past. We just had Day at the Capitol 2 weeks ago, if I can count. And arguably, the students that did show up to open forum today all spoke in favor of this measure. So I encourage you all to vote in favor.
Senator Hedman.
Yeah, to kind of echo what DPT Bonifant, or sorry, Deliberative Bonifant just said, everyone who showed up to open forum tonight was in favor of this resolution. And, you know, that's more than the opposing side. So I think that's something to consider. And another thing to keep in mind is every piece of legislation that we vote on, we are not in the heads of every single constituent that we have. And of course, this is a topic that is going to be going to have people who disagree or agree, but I think that could be said for everything. And like Bonifant said, this is, you know, we were chosen to represent. And so we do that to the best of our ability based on what we know and what's in front of us.
Chair Holmes.
So I definitely agree with Senator Hedman and Deliberative Bonifant, but I also want to emphasize stasis of this resolution is the fact that it is the topic of it is access to healthcare, and that's what we are voting on. And like Senator Hedman said, we're not in the heads of every single student here, but you have to understand that every single student's opinion does matter, even the minority. So even if the majority may not agree, you have to understand there is a minority of students that have differing opinions that come to this. But just like we said, keeping ideologies out, this has to deal with access of healthcare and honestly nothing more. So I don't see why we shouldn't vote for this.
Senator Dunge.
So, not to be mean, but to put it bluntly, 7 people don't represent 70,000. So, I mean, come on. But I understand. I think the idea of making it primarily about, is this violating something that the Supreme Court ruled? I think that's a great idea, and that's a good direction to go to make this a less non-political thing, because you can say it's about access to healthcare, but the bill is about abortion. And even, I'm not saying I disagree with you, but abortion is a controversial topic. It just is. At the end of the day, that's just the reality of the situation. I'm not saying that I agree with either side. It's just that's the way that it is in America. It's been that way for the past 100 years or so. And that's not really ending. But I think it's a great idea to limit it more to the the legal side of it as opposed to the material of it itself, because as senators, your job was to represent the students and the students' ideals, and you ran on platforms and they elected you, or you appointed on those platforms. And I don't think it's fair for us to make those assumptions and to pass these things, not knowing their full, not knowing their position. And even so, That's not what we were elected to do here. That's not the purpose of what we were elected to do. We were to speak and advocate on their behalf. And I know there's the claim that this is for their behalf, but how do you know that? Exactly. We just keep coming back to that, but that makes me uncomfortable. Same thing with everybody else. And it's just, I don't think that it's a good idea. I say this every time we do political things. I don't think it's a good idea for us to talk about that kind of stuff. I think we should stick to the stuff that we were elected to do.
Vice Chair Boysen.
So I respectfully disagree, Senator Dench. I think that it's time that we start talking about real topics, and surely enough, none of us knew that this might pass in the middle of February when we were elected, in August or whenever anybody was elected or appointed or anything. And like Bonifant said, in the second to last "be it therefore resolved" clause, it does say that the student body senate, in the best interest of the student body, would like blah, 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 blah. So this is more of us saying it, not necessarily us saying it, not necessarily every single student agreeing with this. It's more us saying that we agree with it, if that makes any sense. Oh my gosh, I had one more thing. And then we could also say that, so the person who put this out on the floor was Kelly Stargill of District 22. We could also say that all of her constituents did not agree with that either, yet she still passed it. And that is my 2 cents.
Chair Temple.
Yes, I would like to echo the sentiments of Vice Chair Boysen, and I do respectfully disagree with your opinion, Senator Dench. It is the idea that we should be inoculating ourselves from real-world events would, in my opinion, be an affront to what it means to be a senator, because all the events that we are seeing now do affect our students and our constituents one way or another. And I do believe that it's about time that we start at least considering these going forward. Not as now, whether we want to engage with those, that is up to future senators. But at the time being, we should at least consider the implications of future real world events beyond our campus.
Pro-Tem Kehoe.
This is not an attack on anybody, just a reminder. No remarks are to be directed at another student government agent.
Thank you. Anyone with debate or emotion? Senator Moll.
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to, I'll see Jacob's amendment as a technical. There's been a motion to vote on Resolution 5334. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we will now be in voting procedures. With a vote count of 16 to 3, Resolution 5334 passes second reading. Alrighty. Resolution 5335, resolution advocating for the University of Central Florida to oppose the passage of Florida House Bill 7 and Senate House Bill 148 titled Individual Freedom, introduced by Chair Temple. Chair Temple, you have 3 minutes whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So the purpose of this resolution is to bring awareness to and ultimately, hopefully, advocate against the aforementioned bills, House Bill 7 and Senate Bill 148. What these bills intend to do is basically prevent teachers from discussing matters concerning race, sexuality, and other related subjects in their history courses, thereby just entirely preventing them from being discussed entirely. I'm spinning like a record here, but the point is, it is to essentially wash the nuanced details aside from history. And as a student of history, one who loves to engage with it, it is more or less an affront to consider that possibility, because the point of history, as the open forum speakers had stated, it is to be history is meant to be a discussion of freedom as well as like ability to discuss nuanced topics. topics that may make people feel discomfort or feel guilt. But at the end of the day, you are discussing what is in the past in order to rectify things right now, in order to improve things in the future. Should these bills pass, that ability will be neglected in the classroom. And that may put major implications, not just the public schools in which this bill is targeting, but also in campuses like the University of Central Florida, which has classes pertaining to Asian, Latin American, Hispanic American, African American courses, as well as courses relating to the countries of origin in themselves. What would happen if these bills were to pass in university or be afflicted to university? That would limit our ability to discuss these things, and it could damage our perception of history going forward. And as American citizens, we have to understand where we came from. Otherwise, we will never get anything done to fix what is wrong with this nation. I yield my time to questions.
We are now in line for questioning. Sorry, Senator Dench.
Just by a show of hands from all the authors and sponsors of the bill, how many people have actually read this bill in its entirety, the official one? So 1 person, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people. Okay, interesting. I wasn't expecting that.
Anyone else with questions? Chair Holmes.
So I just wanted to ask, so other than, teaching the history of, historical events that have happened in America, what has prompted you to create this, this resolution? Could it be like, passion or anything else like that?
Yes, thank you, Chair Holmes. Yes, this bill, outside of it being a matter of concern regarding legislative priorities, it is born out of a personal passion of mine for history, American history, Roman history, you name it. Like, if I were to be given a book about history right now, I would dive into it and not come out of it for the next 2 hours or so. And I would want to learn about every single detail about a certain people, about a certain country, or a certain piece of legislation, even, because that's just me. And in order to learn about history is to understand all of the details behind it, whether it be good and sweet and rosy or gruesome and bloody. We learn about World War I and World War II. We learn about the Holocaust. We learn about all the things that the United States had done in Vietnam, because it is our patriotic duty to ensure that those never occur within our borders or within the rest of the world. And having these bills pass would obstruct that ability. And not allowing for nuanced discussion purely because somebody might feel discomfort over something that happened 250 years ago is, in my mind, inanity.
Anyone else with questions? Oh, I'm so sorry. Senator Moore.
May I just also respond to Chair Holmes as a co-introducer?
Sure.
Yeah, so I am in the Latin American Studies program. That's why I'm in the College of Arts and Humanities, is because that's my second major. I think that the way that the bill is worded is just incredibly vague. It would really have a chilling effect for people who are in my major, who are, in similar majors, such as the African American Studies program and other majors like that. And I just think that it sets a dangerous precedent where the state government can come in and have an incredibly vaguely worded bill, which could limit the type of education that people are allowed to receive in an institution such as UCF, where we have such great programs like that.
Anyone else with questions? Chair Temple.
Move to debate.
There's been a motion to go to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now there. Vice Chair Costas.
Yeah, I just wanted to say the introducers of this bill, they did leave it very vague, and I don't really think they understand what they're attacking or the magnitude of what they're trying to do. And I don't think we should be passing that bill, Senate Bill 148 and House Bill 7, until the introducers of that bill know exactly what they're trying to suggest and what they're trying to advocate for, because it's very vague and the consequences could be extremely dire.
Chair Holmes.
Yeah, so I want to echo the sentiments of Vice Chair Costas, and I really love this resolution because it's just really important. Because we are on a very diverse campus, it's important to understand the history of the people that come to this campus, and even as a precedent of like high schoolers coming from, the public school, and coming into college, it's important that they learn about the history, about the peoples that they're going to encounter. And I feel like, but I know that, like I said, this individual freedom bill, HB 7, is very vague. And as somebody that looks at legislation continuously for hours, I just think it's really important to understand that if we don't teach history, that it will repeat itself. And it's important to, bring attention and awareness to racial, sex, and gender discrimination. That is all. Oh, and I encourage you to vote highly in favor of this.
Anyone else for debate? Anyone with a motion? Vice Chair Boysen.
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote on Resolution 5335. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we'll now be in voting procedures. With a vote count of 18 to 1 to 3, Resolution 5335 passes second reading. Resolution 5336, resolution advocating against the passing of Florida House Bill 1557 and Florida Senate Bill 1834, the Don't Say Gay bills, introduced by SBA Chair Bertram. You have 3 minutes whenever you're ready.
Good evening, everybody. Really quick, I will be discussing suicide in this speech, so if that topic makes you uncomfortable, here's your fair warning. So this resolution was written after many students and RSOs became aware of two bills in the Florida legislature. These bills aim to limit classroom discussion on sexual orientation and gender identity and encourage parents to sue schools or teachers that engage in these topics. Research has shown that 42% of LGBTQ+ youth seriously considered attempting suicide in the past year. Research has also shown that LGBTQ+ youth who learned about LGBTQ issues or people in the classroom at school had 23% lower odds of reporting a suicide attempt. These bills would negatively impact the mental and physical health of LGBTQ students and would force schools in many scenarios to out students that may live in hostile environments. As the top university for LGBTQ+ students in the state of Florida, it is important that Student Government Senate makes it known to the state legislature that UCF students are opposed to these two bills. And it's in the best interest of the student body that neither of these pass the Florida legislature. I yield the rest of my time.
You're now in line for questioning. Senator Dunge.
Okay. This just out of curiosity, is the bill itself on the Florida House Representative and Senate floor, is it pertaining to which grade levels of students? I'm just genuinely curious.
Yeah, so the language of the bill actually leaves it pretty vague and ambiguous. And so that was kind of one of the concerns as well, is like, what are you defining? What is the Department of Education in Florida going to define that as? And so that was one of the issues of concern with the bill.
Anyone else with questions? Chair Holmes.
I just want to apologize in advance. I know y'all have been hearing me talk so much tonight, but I just want to ask, I'm looking at right now, Young Democratic Socialists, but anyways, I just wanted to ask if any students specifically brought up to you concerns about the Don't Say Gay bill coming up. I know you are the, chair, so you probably have heard, but I'm just curious from whom or as a number, I guess.
I can't give you an exact number, but for instance, both of our ex officio RSOs have put out Instagram posts about it. I know multiple RSOs have also been holding like phone banking, for instance, for a lot of legislators that are on the committees and in the House and Senate. I haven't received a specific email per se, but I know like Vice Chair Taylor, for instance, who just happened to walk in the room, emailed me that a few of his constituents were concerned about it as well and sent some of the language and the link to the bill back in January. So it's definitely a bill that has resonated with UCF students, and that's why SBA decided to sponsor the resolution as well.
Chair Temple.
If I may follow up with what Chair Bertram had said. So yeah, we also had some students. I bring this up to GAP while we were drafting our legislative priorities and the advocacy agenda. So that had actually prompted us to draft this resolution in particular.
Anyone else with questions? Seeing no hands, we will now be in debate. Chair Holmes.
Okay, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet, but I encourage y'all to, vote in favor. This is very important, as the other resolutions have pointed out from, that this is pretty vague, and well, not the resolution itself, but the resolution that of the bill, it is of HB 1557. So I just encourage y'all to vote in favor, because we are an inclusive campus and we need to reflect that within legislation to let our students know that we support them through thick and thin. So that's it.
Pro Tem Kehoe.
Move for a non-committee member to speak.
There's a motion for a non-committee member to speak. Are there any objections? Seeing none, no, you're totally fine. Seeing none, Ava?
Hi, I don't mean to insert myself into debate in any way, and I will not be offering my opinion on this. As a clarifying question to Senator Holmes, because I am a member of Lavender Council in LGBTQ+ services, we have received dozens of concerns about this bill in particular, both through the Instagram and through the safe spaces on campus. So if I know that's not an exact number, but just to give you a frame of reference, it has been highly discussed in the safe spaces on campus. And we have had many students come to us with concerns and with questions about the legislation in particular.
Thank you. I just asked the question so you could, highlight for the other senators how important this resolution is. So thank you.
Anyone else with debate? Like Bonaparte.
Yeah, so as some of you may know, I'm a parent, I'm a step parent, and I hate to imagine a situation where my child would not feel comfortable talking to me about certain things, but I can certainly recognize that that's the case. And all that I want for them is to be able to feel that they have authority figures that they can find comfort and safety in, and I don't feel that that's what the legislation that's being proposed by the Florida legislature does. So I encourage you all to vote in favor of this measure, because I know I'm not the only parent out here, at least at UCF. Probably the only one in Senate, except for Brody.
Senator Moe.
Move to see Chair Bertram's amendments.
There's been a motion to see Chair Bertram amendments as a block. Are there any objections? Seeing none, would you like to speak on them?
Yeah, sure. So I just rechecked the tracker. The bills were actually seen in a House committee today, so I was just reflecting that it passed through a committee, and then the date that it's being seen on the Florida House floor.
We are now in line for questioning. Seeing no hands, we will now be in debate. Senator Moe.
May I retain?
You may.
Yeah, it updates it. Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote on the block of amendments. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we will now be in voting procedures. With a vote count of 19 to 1, the block of amendments pass. We are still in debate over Resolution 5336. Senator Mould.
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote on Resolution 5336. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we'll now be in voting procedures. With a vote count of 19 to 2, Resolution 5336 passes second reading. Alrighty, proclamations none. Senate. Oh, I'm so sorry. Chair Temple.
Move to return to the approval of the agenda.
There's been a motion to return to approval of the agenda. Are there any objections? No, you're good. Chair Temple.
Move to place resolutions 53, 34, 35, and 36 into notice of legislation on third reading.
There's been a
Bless you.
There's been a motion to move resolutions 53, 34, 35, and 36 to internal legislation, notice of legislation on third reading. Are there any objections? Do you all object? Do you withdraw? Deezer Magdadaro.
I just wanted to inquire as to why. Is it because it's passed in Florida legislature right now?
Yes, these bills are being currently seen through the House floor. HB 5 has recently passed the House floor in itself and has moved on to the House into the Florida Senate Appropriations Committee. So if we don't get these bills passed now, these resolutions passed now, then we may never have a shot at actively speaking on it.
Did anyone else who opposed have still opposing the motion? Still opposed. Okay. Do you withdraw?
Yes.
All right. So the motion, the resolutions will not be moved. Senator Moll.
Move to move resolutions 5334, 5335, and 5336 to notice of legislation on third reading.
There's been a motion to move resolutions 53, 34, 35, and 36 to notice internal legislation, notice of legislation on third reading. Are there any objections? Do you withdraw? Alrighty, we will now be in pro con. Pro the objection would be, do we share it between Sean and? Okay, which one? Okay, Sean. Sean, you have 1 minute whenever you're ready.
Okay, so I think due to the very controversial nature of these bills, and to allow all of our constituents the equal opportunity to speak on these bills, especially after all the sentiments that were addressed tonight, that we allow these bills to be seen on third reading next week and allow for people to come during open forum and speak, on the topics at hand.
Senator Moll, you have 1 minute whenever you're ready.
I think that Chair Temple's point about them being seen in Tallahassee right now is really relevant. I mean, we voted overwhelmingly in favor of all of these resolutions, and there's a very real chance that if we wait until next Thursday, they will already be through the Florida House and Senate and possibly on the governor's desk. And so I don't think that it's worth taking this risk if we legitimately want to have our voice put out there before these pieces of legislation are actually on the table. So if we actually want to advocate for this, I think it just makes sense to make sure that we can actually do it and not wait for a chance that might pass us by.
Alrighty, so we'll now be in voting procedures. Pro the objection would be Sean. Con, oh my gosh. Con the objection would be Moll. Senator Jacobs.
Yeah, so for clarification, are we voting yes for Sean? No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yes will be Sean, no will be Loki. With a vote count of 8 to 13 to 1, the con wins. Okay. So resolutions 53, excuse me. Resolutions 53, 34, 35, and 36 will be placed on third reading. Would anyone like to make a motion? Chair Temple.
Move to reapprove the agenda.
There's been a motion to reapprove the agenda. Are there any objections? Seeing none, the agenda stands approved. Chair Temple.
Move to return to internal legislation, notice of legislation on third reading.
There's been a motion to return to internal legislation, notice of legislation on third reading. Resolutions. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now there. Sorry, give us a minute. Internal legislation, notice of legislation on third reading. Resolutions. Resolution 5334. Resolution advocating for the University of Central Florida to oppose the passing of Florida House Bill 5 and Florida Senate Bill 147, introduced by Vice Chair Costas. Michael, you have 3 minutes whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I already said everything I had to say. I think we all said what we had to say, and I'll keep it short and simple.
We are now in line for questioning. Seeing no hands, we will now be in debate. Senator Moore.
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote on Resolution 5334. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we will now be in voting procedures. With a vote count of 16 to 3 to 2, Resolution 5334 passes third reading. Resolution 5335, resolution advocating for the University of Central Florida to oppose the passage of Florida House Bill 7 and Senate Bill 148, titled Individual Freedom, introduced by Chair Temple. You have 3 minutes whenever you're ready.
Yes, I believe you heard my filibuster as before, so I will not expound upon that.
We are now in line for questioning. Senator Moore.
Move to go to debate.
There's been a motion to go to debate. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we are now in debate. Senator Moore.
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote on Resolution 5335. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we will now be in voting procedures. With a vote count of 16 to 1 to 4, Resolution 5335 passes third reading. Resolution 5336, resolution advocating against Florida House Bill 1557 and Florida Senate Bill 1834, the Don't Say Gay bills, introduced by Chair Bertram. Chair Bertram, you have 3 minutes whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I appreciate everybody seeing this resolution on third reading. Just to be clear, the Florida House is seeing this bill on Tuesday, and many students are engaged with the developments in the legislature around these bills. So I think it's a great opportunity to show our students that we are paying attention and that we do care about LGBTQ students across the state.
We are now in line for questioning. Seeing no hands, we will now be in debate. Chair Temple.
Move to vote.
There's been a motion to vote on Resolution 5336. Are there any objections? Seeing none, we will now be in voting procedures. With a vote count of 18 to 1 to 3, Resolution 5336 passes third reading. Special acts, none. Notice of legislation on second reading, already did. Senate forum, Chair Mitchinson.
Okay, coolio. Upcoming events from the Office of Student Involvement. From the Campus Activities Board, they're hosting a Jeopardy event on February 22nd at 7 p.m. at the Student Union Starbucks. They are also hosting Battle of the Bands February 24th at 7 p.m. in the Student Union Pegasus Ballroom. Late Nights is hosting Glow Nights Charge On tomorrow at 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. at Memory Mall. They'll have Glow arcade games, mini golf, and a DJ with a Glow dance floor. We are also hosting Paint a Pot February 22nd from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. at the Arboretum. Rosen Life is hosting a karaoke night on February 24th at 6 p.m. at the Darden Auditorium, Room 101. And Volunteer UCF is hosting Spring Into Service March 19th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And they'll have giveaways, a live DJ, and free food.
Thank you, Vice Chair Costas.
Hey everyone, just wanted to say the town hall this week was very successful. We made some progress with the students and how they feel about UCFPD, and we're going to continue to tackle some of the issues that were addressed. A homeless student came in and voiced some of her concerns, and we're going to continue to make sure that that student can be housed. I'm going to be working with Vice Chair Boysen to make sure that that can be successful, but I learned a lot of students learned a lot about how UCFPD functions and what they are doing. And I think more town halls in the future would be detrimental and very helpful to the student body as a whole.
Chair Hall.
Hi guys, I just wanted to say very, very quickly that I am a member of Moot Court and we're doing our recruitment right now. If you or anyone you know is at all interested, we have an Instagram, it's UCF_moot. You can reach out to us. You can reach out to me personally, like come talk to me after. I would love to talk about this. If you see AG Soto, he would absolutely love to talk about this too. So if you're interested, I know we had some questions about law and stuff. If you're interested in learning like a lot about one constitutional issue, this would be a great thing for you to join. And yep, that's it.
Thank you, Vice Chair Boysen.
I just wanted to piggyback off of what Chair Costa said. I would have written it down, but honestly, it was really hard for me when the homeless student came in and said what they had to say. And UCFPD's response was honestly not very helpful. So I have been trying really hard to email the right people, especially care services and everything. So if you would like to work on this, honestly, I think it's very important that truly UCF has so much money and has just so many resources that students should not be homeless. So if you want to hear more about my solutions or anything, just please reach out.
Thank you. Anyone else with Senate forum? Seeing none, Senate deliberations. Any senator wishing to enter a period of deliberations over a particular topic and or issue? Seeing none, advisors report. Brody.
All right. Hey, everybody. I don't have very many announcements. I want to remind those of you that are in leadership positions that today's the last day of the pay period. So please send in those times if you're missing any. Again, I'll give this every week. Elections are happening. So if you're discussing those or have thoughts and feelings about them, that's wonderful, but please don't do it in the office. Also, I'm excited to see hopefully many of you come back in the next session. If that's your goal, make sure that you fill out the form by tomorrow at 5 p.m. That's going to be critical for that to happen. Yeah, I will leave it at that. Do we have any senator shout outs? Michael.
I have a pretty extensive list. I don't know if I should really go through everybody, but Chinere, Pro Tem Kehoe, Chair Bertram, Temple, a whole list of others. Thank you all for helping me table and helping the town hall be successful. And maybe an interesting shout out. I want to shout out Chair Dench or Senator Dench and Chair Matan for voicing how they felt about the resolutions earlier. I want to make sure that everybody can voice how they feel, and I appreciate that they did say how they felt.
All right, Temple.
Yeah, I would also like to give a shout out to Vice Chair Costas for working extremely hard on the resolution as well as the UCFPD Town Hall. fantastic work, man. You got to keep that up. I'd also like to shout out Vice Chair Boysen for starting the initiative on helping the homeless in UCF, which I actually do want to help work with, by the way. And I also want to give a shout out to Chairs Matan. Is it Matan or Matan? Matan. Thank you. And then Senator Dench, because as much as we are a body that is meant to deliberate on behalf of the student body, we're also an open forum for everybody, including ourselves. And I do highly respect Chair Matan and Senator Dench for voicing their concerns over the resolutions. Even though it was very tense, I still very much respect for what you guys had done. Okay.
Cerisi?
I wanted to shout out Ava and Brody for all they do. I don't think they get enough appreciation, so I just wanted to quickly shout them out.
If you knew how often I was not listening to any of you, you would not give me that shout out, but I appreciate it. Sarah?
Shout out to Brody, for helping with the caucus meeting. I know it was just all over the place. And I want to shout out Director Fletcher and Coordinator Lee, even though they're not in here. They've just been an amazing help with my event. And honestly, it wouldn't be occurring without them. So, and just let you know, Coordinator Lee won her debate yesterday in our class. So if you see her, congratulate her. So yeah, that's it.
All right. Any other senator shout outs? Oh, Shanira, yeah.
Okay. Hi, y'all. So I just first wanted to shout out the people that went to Senate meet and greet today. I really appreciate it. Brody even came out, which is super exciting. I thought it was really fun. Hopefully you did too, and I'm excited for the future of them. I also just want to shout out everyone for being patient with me. I've been going through some personal things. It's been really hard, so I'm just grateful for your patience as I might take a while to respond or I might not be as responsive. So thank you for that.
All right, Nicole.
I just wanted to give a quick shout out to all of the RSO representation that we've seen lately. Hopefully we can see a lot more of it in the future. And yeah, that was all.
Sarah.
Sorry, I had one more, but I want to shout out to Vice Chair Costas because I did get feedback from a student, and it was just should I include that now? Okay, so it was a student, and they let me know that they watched the link to the UCFPD and said that it made them feel more secure on campus and they were glad they were able to gain knowledge about what UCFPD does on campus. And honestly, I can say the same because I didn't really know how many departments they had and how they do help students, and they're pretty progressive, y'all. So yeah, that's it.
Last one, just everybody on the HB5 task force, we were calling it. It was really awesome having so many people who didn't really know each other all in the student government office at once, writing such an extensive and detailed and well-researched piece of legislation. Thank you guys so much. Seriously.
All right. Any more senator shout outs? All right. Ava?
Hello. I think this is the first Senate meeting where me and Brody have both been here in 5 weeks. So that's cool. I want to thank everyone for being patient with me in the last week. I also had some personal stuff going on. It was just kind of chaotic. So I was not in the office as much as I usually am. If it took me a second to get back to your emails, please know that's not like me. I also want to give a huge shout out to Vice Chair Costas and anyone else who helped with or attended the PD Town Hall. I've partnered a lot with UCFPD in the past 2 years on Lavender Council. They're very involved in LGBTQ+ services. And I'm very glad that they're working to spread their resources and continue their education through other platforms on campus. And I'm really glad that student government is partnering with them. I will not be in the office tomorrow. I'm going to see Mitski in Atlanta. I'm very excited about that. I think Brody will be here though, so you guys will not be left alone. If you have questions on legislation, because like I said, the last handful of weeks have been chaotic because Brody was out and then I was out. Please feel free to email me about them. I've gotten a couple, and I was able to locate where that legislation was. We also have a handy dandy legislation tracker that Pro Tem Kehoe was nice enough to put together. That should be in the student government drive, and it should be updated anytime one of us are in the office. So you should be able to locate your legislation and where it's at in the signing process on there as well. And if for whatever reason it's not on there, please never hesitate to reach out to me. I'm always happy to take your questions or your concerns. A reminder about getting me minutes. I've noticed like an influx of getting minutes, especially from caucuses. So that has been amazing. I finally got the Adobe on my computer fixed. So I can now put our minutes on the website, which is fantastic. I reached out to the OSI coordinator today. So I think I put like everything from the new year finally in the shared drive that we have. So that should all be going up on the website. Hopefully in the next week. And then from then on out, every week I will update them with all of the minutes I get, probably like Fridays after Senate. So you can look forward to that. Oh, great. Someone linked the bill thing and awesome. And then I know that there's been like a lot of reshuffling because we're at the end of the semester. I want to make sure that everyone's positions are accurate on the Senate roster. So every week I've kind of been going through and like comparing my notes and comparing the like master document I have and comparing the roster online. If you have a leadership change position, please either let me know directly because I don't necessarily skim through all of the minutes that I receive every time. And if you don't, let me know, but it's not updated within a couple of weeks on the website, please feel free to reach out. I want to make sure that everyone knows who the chair is, who the vice chair is, and that they're not reaching out to like the wrong people. So yeah, just let me know if that happens. I know we've had, particularly I think within caucuses, we've had like a lot of shift in who the chairs are. I've been trying to keep that up to date based on the minutes and everything. But yeah, just let me know if you notice something is amiss. And some of you are already really good about doing that. And I always appreciate that. So yeah, I also just want to commend everyone on the great debate tonight. I always love to see an active floor as an observer. You know, I'm not in Senate, but yeah, I always find that fascinating. I love hearing everyone express their thoughts and opinions. And I think it's awesome to see us being so active. So I commend all of you. And that's all I got.
Awesome. Alrighty. Miscellaneous business. So unfortunately, I'm resigning from Black Caucus. So sorry, y'all. And then we have Bonifant with March Mammal Madness.
Yeah, hi guys. So this is a like Twitter game sort of thing. Obviously, it's fashioned after actual March Madness, which is basketball, which is too loud for me. But this has animals, which I'm very into. So it basically, the very briefest, so I don't take up too much time. It's just quote unquote battles that are like virtual, played out by all sorts of different mammalogists, biologists, people that know about these sorts of things. Super cool. But you don't have to have Twitter to participate. I will gladly send you a summarization email and evaluate your bracket as I do for my family every year. And I would love to have more competitors. There is a prize because there's like merch for it and I let the winner pick. I did win last year. And then my husband got second. So we had the third place consolation prize go to my sister's boyfriend. He got it by Christmas. But don't worry, that won't happen to you. But yeah, if you're interested, just like message me, ask me. I'm happy to talk more about it. Yes, so the Twitter account is 2022. Let me double check this before because it's a little weird. I think it's 2022 MMM March Mail Madness. Let's go, I think. It like literally updates every year, so I don't have to refollow it anymore. Yeah, that is accurate. No punctuation because it's Twitter. So.
Can I ask, do we each like pick an animal or a mammal? Sorry, not just an animal. And then like there's like brackets. I'm very intrigued.
Yeah, so so it is a full bracket. There are 4 categories. It's usually based so there's like, I don't know, however many are supposed to be in a bracket, 64 maybe. Obviously, again, don't pay attention to basketball, just pay attention to the animals. And it's not exclusively mammals. There's like birds, there's like prehistoric animals. It's very fun. You get to research it, but they have like guides and stuff, so it's not too hard. And plus, it's like all random number generated is sort of how it goes as well. So sometimes like a tiny bat beats out a jaguar or something. It's really fun. At midnight, love for it to happen.
So
So what animal won last year? I'm just curious. Like,
I believe it's a kangaroo.
oh, wow. Okay.
So, DPT Bonifant, are you participating in this tournament this year?
Yeah, I always participate, but I can't win because I'm the host. So.
Oh, I was going to ask what animal you would pick.
Oh.
I don't mean to be the Grinch, but is there anywhere we could do this after Senate so that people can go home?
I'll just keep this quick. In third place, we're gonna go with the Chair Hall. I really like the skirt. Yeah. In second place, we're gonna go with Chair Matan. I really love like a simple dress. And first place, we're gonna go with Vice Chair Boysen. I like the fit today.
Chair Block.
Don't worry, I'll make a motion after this. But I just want to very briefly say that I have almost 30 allocation requests next week, and we're seeing 5 fiscal bills in CRT. So if I don't respond to emails or anything, I know I'm behind. Okay, please don't get on me. I'm going to be very behind on emails for the next week or so. So don't get angry at me. And with that, move to adjourn pending final roll call.
There's been a motion to adjourn pending final roll call. Are there any objections? Seeing none, Chair Hall.
I'm here. Pro Tem Kehoe.
Present.
Senator Mole.
Here.
Chair Matan.
Present.
Senator Dench.
Present.
Chair Bertram.
Present.
Senator Richard.
Present.
Chair Mitchinson.
Present.
Senator Hedman.
Present.
Chair Temple.
Present.
Speaker Ananobi.
Here.
Chair Wanjin.
Present.
Senator Simcoe.
Present.
Chair Block.
I'm here.
Senator Amin.
Here.
Deleg Bonifant.
Present.
Chair Galloway. Senator Foster.
Here.
Senator Gell. Vice Chair Taylor.
Here.
Senator McElvin. Senator Patel. Senator Jacobs.
Here.
Deezer Magdadara. Senator Costas.
Here.
Senator Collins.
Here.
Chair Holmes.
Present.
Chair Cerisi. Chair Duque. Ayala Huerta. Ely Jimenez, and Vice Chair Boysen. Okay. With 28 out of 17, quorum is confirmed.
Thank you. I hereby.
Yeah, sorry, let me redo that. That was the number of people that we needed for quorum. With 28 out of 33.
Thank you. I hereby adjourn this meeting at 10:24 p.m.